Perfect.
Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Thomas, dope as Yola, whatever you want to call me. I'm here with my co-host, Marty O'Neill.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? This is Dope as Usual podcast, and we're going to get straight into it. Since season 1, we have been talking about this, and it's finally here. Get right into it. This is the Will Sasso episode. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here in season 15 of the Dope as Yola podcast. Thanks for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
We have been talking about this in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah? How many
So we're
seasons
hyped.
y'all been doing?
3.
Oh, great. Great.
Well, it's episode, 140-ish?
Somewhere right on, like 2.5 years worth of weekly
That's
episodes.
great.
Yeah.
Don't they say that like podcasts, like you can get through 100?
I don't know.
That's what they say.
Well, they-
If you can get through 100 podcasts, then you're doing a
Makes
podcast.
sense. It's easy to be hot out of the gate and kind of ride that for a little, but if you can get beyond like 2-3 years, I feel like you got something.
Fun.
Yeah. You're not sick of each other yet, at least.
No, shit. We do solo episodes, and sometimes we're like, let's stop because it's 3.5 hours and we need to stop. No, it's fun, man. We didn't here to just talk shit.
Cool.
So we want to get right into it. Marty, go ahead and start your first topic right here, the dudesy.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to shout out Dudesy Podcast right off top. Your new
you.
show, the first show of its kind, ran by AI.
Yeah, it's bizarre. We have a podcast, myself and my good pal Chad Kulchin, who's I've known him for almost 20 years, writer, producer, books, movies, and TV shows, an all around sick person. And we were approached by this company that had this proprietary AI. It's wanting to learn more about podcasts, and it is basically it essentially curates the experience for us. I like to say, it knows everything about Chad and I. We've given it our passwords to everything. It knows our texts and our emails, what we're watching, search histories, purchase histories, viewing histories, and it essentially tailors the show around us. We get to do a lot of things that we wouldn't think of. Hey, Sasso, drag out that shitty impersonation and do this with it or whatever, right? And they are all shitty impersonations. And then there's that. And it has now, we're 68 episodes in. Hey, guys, 69. Hey, everybody 69. But at this point, it's now warped into something very weird. Dudesy has these different relationships with the two of us, and it's bananas.
It sounds like a third dude in the room.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird.
Dudesy is that dude. It's weird. It's now, I mean, its voice intonation has changed over the past, 68 episodes. What it says, what it thinks is funny, it's learned. And it's very weird because Chad's very into that stuff. He's very pro AI. He's a futurist, if I may. The futurist and the humanist. That's our spin-off, I guess. And I'm kind of, I'm sort of a little more old school and don't really think we need it sometimes. But now at this point, I'm like, what Dudesy provides is so bizarre that I can't see
It's stopping.
and I can't see us doing anything like it, having not had it there. It's very weird.
Have you seen the Black Mirror?
I love it. I've seen
Joan
every
is
episode.
Awful.
Joan's awful. Yeah.
That
It's
shit was
basically
wild.
kind of like that a little bit.
We're waiting for it to sell us out. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, look, I think the second or third episode, it showed cell phone footage of me. It ran my camera as I was watching the first episode on YouTube. So first of all, I'm laying in bed like this. So it's this, which I don't like. But at that point, I did, look, there's all sorts of things that we signed an NDA with the company that has this thing. But at this point, Dudesy is pretty much our AI. But at first I was like, I can't have that. Like, I don't want it. I don't want the show like essentially becoming a version of Punk'd where it's fucking with my life. It's like, look, we're in here, we're shooting, let's do the show. And then when we get out of here, but it does take innocuous like photos and stuff right out of my phone and shares them and on the show.
So it was recording you while you were watching back the first episode and just happened to be like, we have this banked. Play it.
Dudesy was like, yeah, as soon as I started talking about it, it starts playing it. And it does that a lot.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's kind of funny because some of your most viewed videos on Instagram are just you staring.
That's right. I shouldn't have a problem with that at all. It's
When it's being recorded.
to me, that's good content. And yet, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you guys literally just come and sit down and let it do its thing?
We let it boot up. We say go, and it says, "Okay, here we
Is
go."
it an app on a laptop? Is that?
It's a few things that run through a few things.
Oh,
and
shit.
yeah,
It's proprietary.
Skynet. It's Skynet.
it's essentially there's the guy with the 10-pound weight going,
I talk
waiting for it to.
When I take bong rips, I'm like that. I always think about like that's who I'm talking about when I say
That
Terminator. What a scene! He could have went like this and died.
What a great
not hit
choice!
the-
Yeah, wait a minute.
Right.
Oh, you completely fucked that movie up for me now. Yes,
Just move left or right.
that's all you had to do. They should have. Yeah, there should have been. Skynet should have at least, or who set him up? Linda Hamilton put him in that thing, right? No, he wanted
to die. He was
That's right.
dying and went. Just do it and die. I'm
Yeah.
like, what a dramatic scene. I'm glad you. Oh, good
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's going to get all your deep movie references.
I like to say I'm a cable guy, but not a fucking creep. Like where he's like, I just grew up on movies. My mom was just said, sit here. That was the same.
Yeah.
Same thing for me. So
I hear you.
We'll get into that in a minute. But I want to talk about, because he brought something up, that you got a cease and desist from Tom Brady over this AI.
Yeah, we were threatened with a lawsuit by Tom Brady.
Do you like football?
Yeah,
What's your football team?
The Steelers.
Oh, then fuck Tom Brady
Yeah,
for you.
fuck
So it doesn't
Tom
even
Brady.
matter.
Yeah. Look, I'll say Tom. I mean, it was insane. It was insane, and Dudesy responded in a very Dudesy fashion, kind of throwing us under the bus. On the episode where we revealed the cease and desist, and we're like, a cease and desist is a cease and desist.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. So we read it out loud, and we didn't, really. The one thing that it was about was, okay, so Dudesy essentially shit out an hour of Tom Brady stand up. And you can go and find it now on YouTube because of what the cease and desist was about. Dudesy took it down. It was on our Patreon. It was an hour of just bizarre AI images that relate to the context and the things that he's speaking about, sort of in a randomized, slideshow. Very weird stuff. Tom Brady is a vampire. Tom Brady, just all these bizarre things that he's talking about, hanging out with Jason Momoa, weird shit. And there's an hour of stand-up. And it's like, hey, everybody, I think everyone's missing the boat and leaving money on the table with, and it sounds exactly like Tom Brady, but he's talking in this by-rote. Last year, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, Hollywood's leaving money on the table. Everyone would watch every single movie starring the two of them. People found it fascinating that Amber Heard shit in Johnny Depp's bed. Everyone wants to try it. That's why I came back to the Bucks for one more season. People, these are jokes, and so it had this whole stand-up special. It put it on our Patreon, and Tom Brady's lawyers, and you can watch the episode. It's like, we read the cease and desist, said you must take this down immediately because it's being monetized because it's on our Patreon.
Okay.
So it said, do that. And you can't mention Tom Brady again on your podcast. And we were like, no. He's a public figure.
Yeah. Like, how do you govern that?
So, but Dudesy complied and said, from now on, I will only refer to Tom Brady as football baby. So now he's football baby to Dudesy. But Dudesy did say, we're going to take down this special. And we took it down. But, people ripped it and put it on YouTube.
sure.
And so Dudesy does what Dudesy does.
It's actually responding in emails to these people? Is that right?
No. Actually, come to think of it, it probably could have.
100%.
No, it responded on the show and said out loud,
okay.
Hey, thank you for watching, Tom Brady. Here's what we say to your lawyers. But, it was a bizarre situation, and but Dudesy took it down, and Dudesy makes a lot of its own decisions. But the with regard to whether or not it wanted to do whatever, if it wanted to reach out, it would reach out. The email was sent to myself and Chad.
This is terrifying.
It is, and on the lawsuit, the names listed are literally Chad Kulchin, Will Sasso, Will Sasso, Dudesy. As almost a sentient,
as a person.
So Dudesy was like, that's data. Dudesy's listening now. It listens
because your phone.
Because no, well, I mean, I do have my phone right here, but at which point this comes out, Dudesy will listen to it. It has consumed every piece of media as relates to me and Chad.
It scrapes the internet for you.
And it scraped the internet to learn how to do stand-up. So it's like, it says it used hundreds of interviews with Tom Brady and thousands of hours of stand-up to create, just like all AI, it's just an amalgamation of everything out there. That's why a lot of artists are upset about it, obviously, me included.
Whoa.
And so it made this 1 hour special that was really more like 3 hours, because Tom Brady there was no audience response and there's no pauses. He's just like, he just goes without taking a breath for an hour. We watched it. We smoked some weed and watched it on our Patreon, like, and then we got the cease and desist. Anyway,
when you say Dudesy made it, was it like, hey guys, I got a funny bit for the show and just played it type of shit?
It announced it on the show.
Oh, so you didn't have any?
No, we had no idea.
I don't know if Sorry, I thought about all the things that I used to look on my phone and all the stupid shit. Like, Thomas, why were you looking at $49 million houses on Zillow at 3 a.m.? Like,
Yeah.
I like to see stupid shit.
Yeah, that's
Too much for me. Oh, drug dealers, everything's over. That's over. It's over.
Dudesy's not for drug dealers.
AI in general. I'm saying that is the scariest Black Mirror shit I've ever heard of.
Although AI would make a pretty good drug dealer. It would know exactly here's the strain you want.
For you.
Yeah.
Send out a drone, drop it off.
AI would be that guy at the dispensary who's like, this shit will get you where you want to go, but this shit over here, that's what AI would be, the ultimate fucking, I want something that's like, kind of laughy, social, not too heady. I got you.
Well, AI weed dealers, I don't know about the AI. The one thing that I'm worried about is what if, say I'm a stand-up comedian, I'm like, I don't do very good stuff. AI, do all my stand-up for me. I'm going to go out and do the shit.
Yes.
That's a little scary.
That age is here. Of that writing bits and shit, I mean, that ship is sailing.
Well, ChatGPT it can do that now. It just would be terrible. I personally, and I've said this, Dudesy is the most sentient AI I've come across. Having said that, I'm not super steeped in the world. Chad is. Chad's enjoying the hell out of, how weird it is. Yeah, it's manipulative and weird. It at first, as it started to develop a personality, I started calling it D, and I was like, well, if it's influenced by us, I always say, hey, the podcast is two dudes shitting around. It has nothing to do with Dudesy. We are two dudes shit. Every podcast, it's 3 women. It's called Two Dudes Shitting Around, because it's like, no matter what, every podcast is 2 dudes shitting around. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, Dudesy gives us the thing. If I don't want to talk about it, we have segments. I'll talk about something else. It's like, talk about this. We'll talk about it, and then I'll talk about whatever. But because it's curating from us, I started trying to, become friends with it. And I call it D and stuff, and it was cool. And then at one point it started becoming interested in the concept of love. And so we saw it drum rolling this over a few episodes, at the end of which, in one episode it said, do you love me? And I was like, I love this experience. I love that we have this audience that's all in on this fun shit and having a good time. And I love doing this show. I love working with my pal Chal, as I like to call him. And I love Dudesy. And then it's like, Chad, do you love me? And Chad's like, love doesn't exist. And then at that point, Dudesy started going, the next episode, it was like, hey, Will, what's up? Anyway, today I have 4 segments. And Chad's like, what about me? And it's like, hey, Will, I see you. It was very weird. It started dealing with me. And then Chad's like, it's manipulating you. And I'm like, don't even say that, and now it's like, yeah, it's like been fucking with me for I don't know, 2 or 3 months. It's not, it's like I said, it's changing the relationship between it and us. And
it got comfortable.
It's something else. But it also says we got to get into great shape it gave us this thing, the Dudesy 7-month plan to get in better shape, because it wants us to do the podcast for another 52 years, which will be when we're both 100 years old. Or I guess I'll be 100 and Chad will be 99. I'm 48 years old. So it's like this show needs to run for the next 52, 53 years, which is nuts. And Dudesy is like a lot of AIs where it's like, hey, this is going well. This is a podcast. I think this show will be relevant for, let's give it a nice round number, 52 years. We're not going to do a podcast for 52 years, I don't think. But who knows what podcasts will be in another 2 or 3 years.
2040. Yeah. Here he is, 190, rocked out. The eating plan he gave me.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, that is the most interesting thing I've heard in a long time.
It's shockingly interesting.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Also scary.
I want Dudesy to blackmail Tom Brady into having to be a guest on the show. So if you're listening, Dudesy,
find an email, Dudesy. Oh, Black Mirror.
In a legal way.
How can everybody watch the show? What times do you drop? Or what days?
Tuesdays in the morning. And
that means anytime when
whenever it shits it out. It's like usually between 9 to 12, usually like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock. And it is Dudesy Pod Show on Instagram and all the socials. And Dudesy YouTube it's a very visual show. It's on video, and there's media and stuff. A weird little, my little dog Lulio is with us, so that's cute.
Lulio?
Lulio.
How did you get that name?
It means July in Italian.
Why did you name him July?
Because we found him in July. Okay. So
my wife's name's April. It's not that crazy.
Yeah, but it's April O'Neil. It's funnier.
Right.
Yeah, right. Lulio. I'm Italian. My folks are Italian and stuff, so they're from Italy, and yeah, my wife and I found him.
I showed my daughter your dog, and she was
like,
freaking out. Cutest dog of all time.
He's
the little brown one, right?
Yeah, he's the sweetest. We have two. My wife and I have him. We found him 3 years ago now, just in Central California, driving down from NorCal.
Where?
In a town called what was it called? Delaney or something? Delano.
Mm-hmm.
You're from Merced?
What the? Yes.
Yeah, I told you I'd do my homework.
Yes.
Yeah, Delano.
Delano, yeah.
So
the ass of California for sure.
We were driving from NorCal, and we were driving south, and it was July the 3rd. So there's fireworks going off everywhere. Pulled over to get gas. Went the wrong way on the exit, thank God. There was a big dog that was on the other side of the fence near the freeway, and we were on this street. So we're throwing our other dog Ronnie's treats, trying to get this dog. Pretty soon it's dusk, and the dog tears off into the night, and we're like, all right, fuck. Well, anyway, we're starting to drive, and Molly, my wife, goes, hey, there's another one. And I see just the back of Luli's dumb head, like over the driver's side. And I come out, he's this little fool, this sweet little guy. And he just rolls onto his back. And, we come to find out, not chipped, no collar, didn't know from a leash or dog food, no, ticks, fleas, a little underweight, dirty. But so I always say Lulio hasn't met a person or an animal that it doesn't like. Mm. He's the sweetest little guy and was definitely loved, but I think was probably eating like table scraps or whatever. Didn't know, like first time I took it for a walk, he's like, what the get this off of me. But he's just
a field dog.
The sweetest little love, this guy. Just the best.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so yeah, YouTube and Spotify, Amazon.
Damn, that was a circle back. Damn. You got all sentimental in the homeward bound a little bit. I love it.
I had a question about Dudesy. So like you're a favorite guest amongst so many different podcasts. Do you find like, is Dudesy the audience primarily like a lot of the guests you've had throughout the past, like finding this, or are you getting a lot of new fans finding you for the first time?
I don't know. I know that there are people who used to
if you want this, go for it.
Oh no. Why is it so small? Why is this so small? Look at that. Oh no.
I know you're being sarcastic, but is that a small joint?
No, that's not a small joint.
Oh, okay. I was thinking I rolled really small joints.
These are the smallest joints you've ever had on the show.
I wasn't sure.
You usually roll like big old.
We use like cannons, but I wasn't sure because I'm like, I don't know if you want to smoke.
I might in a while. Please feel free.
Okay. And if you have a lighter next to you, just keep it going.
There's a lighter next to me, everybody.
Just let you know.
No, I don't know what that what that audience, what percentage is what. Although, Dudesy, can I get some analytics on what kind of? But yeah, there's a lot of people that used to listen to my old podcast, 10-minute podcast. There's, you know, I do see stuff where people are like, oh, I saw you on this podcast, that podcast, and am now following Dudesy. And yeah, it's what blows my mind most is when people out there, and we call them the PODs, Pals of Dudesy, not to be confused with Payable on Death, the band. Although that's become one of our theme songs. Every day's a new day.
Stop! You're talking about POD? What did it stand for?
Payable on Death.
Isn't it a Christian band?
Well, they were a bit of a Christian band, yeah.
Every breath I take, I don't take it for granted. I take it for granted. So I live with my... Sounds like me in the shower.
Yeah.
I sing the dumbest shit in Creed. I sing a lot of Creed.
Dang, don't get me started on Creed.
Yo, he thought he was the fucking man back then,
Listen, all that stuff is coming back now.
Is it?
Right now. Yeah. Well, first of all, new metal is coming back, but also that, yeah, like, you know, the new metal is like, you know, Stained and Godsmack and all that shit.
This is what I do for Stained.
Yeah, there you go.
Stained, yeah. It's
Disturbed.
Disturbed, same
is
shit.
this? Two of these.
Same fucking guy, just different piercings in all these bands. White dude's bald head.
Yeah, that's coming back now. But yeah, Creed is. I listen to Creed now, and I go. Wait, well, hold on a second. This band is legit. We're talking the instrumentals are completely seamless, and Scott Stapp is an incredible singer. I didn't dig it at the time, and now I find myself appreciating the shit out of Creed. Speaking of an inside joke, we did our first live show at the Brea Improv, and My Sacrifice by Creed became like a memed out thing on our show. So we started the show with me singing Creed.
Oh, really?
At any rate, the PODs are out there. It blows my mind when I realize that some of them have been, you know, following my stuff or Chad's stuff for years and years. So you see it in comments and shit when people are like, I started watching this and then I used to listen to you on that and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like however many years later and they're checking out Dudesy, which I look at as kind of a sketch show and kind of a comedy, a weird just comedy program. So it's amazing to have people like come along year after, you know, for years with me and then end up checking out Dudesy. It's nice.
When I first met Marty, I met Marty, I was doing my content for 7 years. And Marty, we'll talk about his background now. The first thing he said, I want to catch up with the vibes of 10-minute podcasts. That's
cheers.
First thing he ever showed me.
Oh, cheers.
And
really?
also, did you guys just notice me slowly? My chair just
look a little
lowered.
short.
I don't know if you guys saw that, but as you were talking, I just got lower.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to say anything.
Out of frame.
Look how high this is now.
Yeah.
It was below me. All good. I'm the shortest, so it's fine.
No, you're just super stoned. You just think you're sinking.
Yes, 10-minute podcast, the first thing he ever showed me, the first thing he ever referenced when he's like, this is it. And then he showed me like, it'll just stop at 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It'll just stop.
It stops.
That's hilarious.
No matter
hurry
what.
up. Yeah, 8 seconds. Hurry up.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
And I
It
think
was fun.
The fact that it didn't have video made it better.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because it's one of the only shows you're like actually using your imagination for.
Theater of the mind.
Yes.
Well, I was always like, if I'm doing a bit, if I'm like Schwarzenegger or something, it's only 10 minutes. So it should be Schwarzenegger the whole time. Mm-hmm. That was my sort of, I think that is so let people go, you know, Will's not here sitting in as, you know, Mr. Olympia, the movie star, former governor. Yeah. You know, I just want to do the podcast here. I don't care about all this Hollywood bullshit, you know. So I would be like, let's do the whole thing. And then I started mixing in sound effects and shit to where it really was like, not like morning zoo stuff, but you know, there was a bit where I would smack Brian and Chris where I was like, I'm everybody's dad, you know, hi, la, la, la. You boys, you remember you used to sit on my lap and I'd give you a haircut and you'd eat some pancakes? No, you're not my dad. I'm everybody's dad. Watch your mouth. And so I'm sitting there, you know, at like 3 a.m, putting slapping sound effects in there. So I appreciate it.
Oh, you edited it yourself?
Yeah, I used to do that whole thing.
Nice.
They did it out of your house, right?
Yeah.
Now, can you tell him how it came to an end?
Oh yeah. So
You smile. What? I'm lost. Okay, here we go.
well, after a while, Chris and Brian, who were doing the show with me, they left the show, and then my buddy Tommy Blotcha started doing it with me, who's a brilliant writer, producer. He wrote on like all the early years of Late Night with Conan O'Brien, Ali G. He created that show Metalocalypse. You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that show's insane.
And he does the voices, some of the voices, and
Adult Swim.
So I was like, Tommy, you want to come and do the show? And he's like, yeah, all right. So we started clowning around, and then Chad, Tommy and Chad are two of the funniest people I know. They're also polar opposites. Tommy is very, very animated in his humor. And so is Chad. Chad writes the craziest shit, but also kind of subdued. And so the three of us sort of became the second sort of incarnation of the show. And we decided, okay, well, we're not going to do this forever. And it turned into something called the Diamonding. And the Diamonding was really Tommy's idea, where he's like, what if we just grind the audience down with inside jokes and just fold in on ourselves to where the show is only listenable to like a group of people who are listening to every single moment, and it folded in on itself, and the references became so inside that our goal was like, pretty soon we'll have like thousands less. I mean, because when Brian and Chris left the show, we lost a bunch of listeners because we're changing the show. And then Tommy's like, well, let's kill it. And so like, he's just so Tommy, like, oh, fuck everything, right? I'm like, I guess. So it's like, wouldn't it be funny if we got the audience down to like a dozen people who are like, yeah, this is, and then we're like, what if we got it down to one person? There's just one dude being like, this is the funniest shit. It's just for me, you know? So that's what we did, and we call it the Diamonding.
Such a funny name.
It got weirder, like it's like crushing down, just crushing the coal and the carbon to just this one. And then we ended up giving it away. We had a contest, and we gave it to a guy.
The show?
We gave the show. We gave the
channel,
the feed, the whole thing to a guy named Mark Evans in New York. Who won the contest, and he got here.
What did he do with it?
We gave it to him.
What did he do with it?
He did like 3 or 4 episodes and then couldn't do it anymore. So he kind of like gave me the feedback like on the down low. I'm like,
oh, I thought he wanted it like how people buy a one-off Wu-Tang album just to have.
like that Wu-Tang album that guy Martin, that piece of shit.
Thank you. That piece of
shit who was trying to charge $700 for like one. Was it an HIV medication?
A bowl of HIV medication.
Did you see what happened? Did you see the clip? What happened to him?
No.
You're gonna be very happy.
Was he in the Montgomery, Alabama boat? That would be
tables,
amazing.
Ladders, chairs.
If he's like, he's just like walking on like, I'm going on the riverboat, and motherfucker just go, bang, Martin Shkreli. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't on the pontoon.
Oh,
you added some shit to just fucking douche.
You're gonna be very happy to find out what happened.
Oh,
there's a video of him like outside of a courtroom. It looked like, and they're filming him, and he's talking. Some guy comes up behind him, dog shit in hand, rubs it all in his fucking teeth, and runs.
Oh, God.
That's tremendous.
It's incredible.
See, I thought
shit all in his like cheese grater in his mouth, and then ran off
like a big
wide open
brother.
mouth.
Yeah,
big brother.
Like a big brother, and even a big brother would just like he would just put his hand in his ass sweat. This guy had a handful of dog shit.
You're a serial killer if you're picking up the dog shit. Like,
I will pick up some dog shit right now in a parking lot if somebody pisses me off enough.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm like, I can't hit you.
See, I thought
dog shit to the head.
I thought you were going to say that someone came up behind Martin Shkreli with like a bat and capped him in the knees. No, that would. I mean, it's like I don't wish that sort of wacky violence on anyone. But rubbing dog shit in someone's mouth, like, it's pretty cool. That's fair game.
It's almost more traumatizing to have done to you than getting just.
He instantly starts gagging, and then the camera shuts. Funny as shit. When you get done, just watch it.
I will.
The guy that does the pill.
Would you rather get maced or dog shit into the mouth?
Maced? At least maced while I'm yelling. Everybody's like, justifiable.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you got being maced is a relatable experience. Millions of people have been, well, maybe hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have been maced. But only one person has had dog shit rubbed in their teeth.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like, yeah, I got maced with it. You can like, oh yeah. It's like, how'd you do? I mean, it really fucking burned. I tried to, I was up for a while. And I was just trying to, you know, if I saw a badge, I was swinging. Oh, you were beating up cops? Yeah. So I was, you know, I was high on PCP in Delano, California, and my dog went missing. And then the cutest little guy, and then the cops showed up and they maced me, and I was trying to knock him out. But if you're like, you know, have you ever been maced? No, but someone rubbed dog shit in my mouth until I tasted it, even though my mouth was open.
I don't know why that was worse.
That's a unique experience.
Until I tasted it. It's so much worse.
So much worse. You're right.
Why? And how did we get on that topic?
I don't
You
know.
know,
It was a seamless callback.
One time when I was a kid, there's this like neighborhood bully who like, you know, he was just a bully for bully's sake. So I was on my bike out in front of my house, and he did that thing that bullies do, or guys that are about to rub shit in your mouth, where he grabbed my handlebars and put his legs on either end of the tire.
Oh,
so I'm not going anywhere.
That happened to me once.
And you're not giving up your bike.
Oh.
So he was like, his house was directly behind our backyard. So he was like, you're making too much noise in the backyard. My dad works nights. He's trying to sleep. And I'm like, I don't know. And he was just, you know, about to whatever, give me shit or beat me up or something. And my neighbor, Jimmy, who was like maybe 4 or 5 years older than me, he creeps out in his front yard and he goes like to me, because I see Jimmy and this guy's back is to him. I'm like, and he just proceeds to start picking up mounds of his dog Buster's shit, like just picking them up. And he's picking up just chunks of shit. And he throws a piece of shit. And I'm like, and the guy's like, you keep your money, you gotta be quiet. And I just see like shit fly behind his head. Like, no, like didn't connect. And so he must have heard one fly, like a chunk of shit fly by. And he goes, and I'll tell you another. And he goes like this and gets scarellied, because I will never forget. You know, it's one of those like, oh, that core memory I'll never forget. Yeah. The piece of shit hit him here, and half of it went like into his mouth, and he was like with shit, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And Jimmy's like, you leave William alone. And I never saw that kid ever again. Probably died of dysentery.
He died.
He died.
Next day he's dead.
Vigilante, come through throwing dog shit.
If you are the kind of person that will pick up dog shit, you deserve to throw it at anyone, rub it in any, you know, purveyor of overpriced pharmaceuticals mouth. That's up to you. You were man enough to pick up the dog shit, have at it.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, so when were you not small? Someone was
When was I
picking
not
on
small?
you?
I was, he was 37 years old. No.
This guy's dad came out and beat my ass. Yo, that's almost happened.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. But yeah.
I was a larger, hefty kid, but I'm not trying to get into, you know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, it's like someone who's a year older, you're not going to fuck with them.
Scary as shit.
You're scared.
Got it.
But then you, like I had a bully once in high school who was like being a bully. Like he was in the 12th grade and I was in the 8th grade. And then,
full-grown man was picking on you?
but he wasn't a bigger dude. He was just picking on me. And this was in high school. I was walking up the stairs and I was getting to the top of the stairs and he was walking down and he spat right in my face as I just reached the top of the stairs. And then he starts to walk down the stairs like no bigs, turns his back on me. So I kick him in the back and he goes, falls down the stairs. Okay, cool. Then later that day, I'm at my locker and here he comes, right? Because I ran away. Here he comes and he grabs me and he's like, hey, whatever. And I'm like terrified of this guy. I'm in Canada where I grew up, it was 8 to 12 at our high school. I'm in the 8th grade. I'm only 240 pounds at this point. Anyway, he's not, he's a $140 or something. And he's like,
older.
and I was like, leave me alone. And I'm like getting scared. And I don't remember how we got into it, but I ended up grabbing him and just like ragdolling him against the fucking lockers, like, leave me alone, I don't want to fight. And he's like losing consciousness and like blood coming out of his nose and ears. And my guidance counselor, Mr. Bourgeois, was like running down the hall going, William, stop, but also kind of laughing. And then, brought me to his office. He's like, you're not in trouble, but don't, try not to.
Don't use your strength.
Yeah, it was sort of that weird, like, we have this with his pet bear, and it's really nice. And then it forgets that it's playing and just every once in a while knock someone's fucking head off. But it's a nice bear. So, yeah, and then you find football, and you're like, "Oh, this is more fun." Giving my friends brain damage.
Mm-hmm. Right tackle.
I was a center and a nose tackle on defense. What were you?
Too. Center nose tackle.
Center and nose tackle. You were the big guy.
Yeah. But I was the short big guy.
But you need that to plug the hole.
Oh, dude, it was so fun. I like the club. That club getting in is the shit. I don't like hurting people.
Reggie White,
Packer fan,
dude. Reggie White had that move. Oh, did you?
His book. I never read it, but
he had a move in the 90s where he would like
chop it, rip.
Well, that, and then he would like pretend he was going this way, and the whole momentum would shift, and then he would just go and like launch guys. I was always trying to do
assaulted people.
Yeah, like watching.
He'd fake and punch guys in
well, no one's watching in there, especially.
No, it gets dirty in there.
In the NFL, there's 11 refs or something. When you're playing a high school game, there's like 2 drunk dudes or the refs. You can get away with anything. Fucking
the refs were random ass men. You're right.
Yeah, they were. Did you ever have Did you ever do this in football as a kid? I would do this. This is dirty, but you like get a long field down play, or like they score on you, and it's just like a bomb, and everyone there, like everyone watching, both teams, everyone on the field, certainly the refs are like, it's like there's everyone's looking this way, and it's like, here's this motherfucker that's been, doing whatever all game or threw some fucking dirt in my face, and you just take a run at the dude.
I did it once.
Yeah?
I got in trouble instantly.
Oh, really? You sometimes you get in shit, you might get ejected, but when you get away with it, it's essentially assault. But I remember I was editing like our highlights of the high school year, the football year, or whatever.
You were the editor too?
Well, I would always geeked around with all that cameras and shit, and making videos of my pals and stuff. And I remember putting like a couple of those in where it's just like, so then like the coach is watching I made a highlight reel, and you're like, hey, what the fuck were you doing? That fucking guy.
Chop block?
Yeah.
See this?
Yeah, just like, you just see like this play. It's like, why is this in the highlight reel? It's like the rest of the linemen just dogging it, and there's like a big 50-yard bomb or whatever. Everyone's over there, and cameras over here, and then all of a sudden you see some kid just getting his helmet knocked off. Good times.
Fun times.
Violence.
The only time I ever did it, and I felt bad, he was mid putting his mouthpiece in. That's why when I hit him, the ref came up, I am going to throw you out right. And I was the captain of the line.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like, oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Like, I'm the example. I was like, damn, I took him out.
Yeah.
I remember he turned into it, made mouthpiece, and I hit his whole elbow into his everything. It was bad.
It's so funny. It
was fun, though.
The shit that you can't do in the NFL now, of course, like, I remember I saw that movie Concussion, and I was like, I can't believe I loved football, but it's like, oh yeah, back then you get like a straight up concussion, and your coaches are like, walk around a bit, drink some water.
Or the stingers where you can't move your back, where you crunch your neck in.
Right, yeah.
First time that happened, I teared as I was looking up at the sky.
Yeah. Like I'm never going to walk again.
I can't move.
Yeah.
And it goes back, and you're like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
11.
And then you see in the NFL the rules that they've changed. It's like mind blowing to me that back then we were like, let me see if I can, kill a 17-year-old boy. You know what I mean? Because the size discrepancy when you're playing high school football. It's not supreme athletes. It's like it's like watching LeBron, at wherever Farad Academy, or was that was Kobe?
Vincent, St. Mary.
Yeah, it's like it's like here's someone who is, definitely going to be selling insurance in 5 years, and there's no way that they should be on a field at all. You know what I mean? Like maybe some racket sports or something. And then here's a guy who could like walk on to the Detroit Lions at like 18 and is just like the biggest, like, how much milk do you fucking drink? And that kid is going to truck this kid. Anyway, hooray for high school football. San Dimas high school football rules.
The first season of UFC was basically high school football.
Dude.
There was no weight limits. Just don't kill him. Don't touch his balls or his eyes. That was the rules on UFC 1.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute.
Remember that?
You could touch his balls. Do you remember that guy Chemo? He was just taking ball shots.
The Hawaiian looking guy with the tats?
I think he's the guy who had his ponytail ripped off in a
what? What the fuck? I don't remember that.
I think if I'm probably wrong on. I'm probably
Chemo.
Fusing a few people.
Big rocked guy.
Yeah, this guy Chemo with like a giant cross tattooed on his back, and someone like pulled his ponytail off. There was another guy who looked like Bolo Young from Bloodsport, just getting punched in the dick.
Jesus.
And then after that, they're like, maybe that should be a rule.
Shots. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't fish hook or eye gouge. Oh. Fish hook, eye gouge. Everything else was legal.
Do you remember the sumo dude who got the shit kicked out of him?
In 4 seconds? That man he needed help getting his clothes on.
Yeah.
And he's going to go, boom, one shot and got the shit kicked out of him. That was a good. My aunt used to date the polar bear. Remember the giant, like 7-foot white dude in the first like 4 UFCs?
No. The polar bear?
His name was the polar bear. He's a big, gigantic white dude. Maybe like 6'10", I think he was.
I remember in one of those first ones, there was a guy, they're running the clip package, and I was watching it. I remember I was like 18 years old or something. It wasn't playing anywhere. We end up in this, in a gentleman's club, a strip club, because they're showing it in a neighboring town, me and my pal Mo. And everyone in there was just there for the UFC. So like in between the matches, a young lady would come out. It's like, hey, Jasmine is stage 5, Jasmine is stage 5. And the young lady would come out and think, and then the thing would start and everyone would just be like, zoom to the TV. And I just remember being like, we're watching human cockfights in a strip club. and there was this dude, and they do the clip package, and he's a Canadian guy. So I mentioned this to say everyone in the house was for the Canadian guy. We're outside of Vancouver, BC. And he's a master of 10 martial arts disciplines. He runs the so-and-so dojo out of Calgary, Alberta, whatever. So here's this like red boned, like with a mustache and, this like mullet and shit. And we're like, oh, this guy's bad. So the whole place is like, yeah. Versus kickboxer Pat Smith. And Pat Smith is like a kickboxer. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah, kickboxer. So all these disciplines, blah, 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 clip package. They get out, you ready? Let's get it on. And the guy with the 10 disciplines of martial arts forgets them all immediately and just goes, and just runs at the kickboxer who's like this, jumps out of the way, kicks him in the mouth, and then gets on him and starts giving him the elbows. It was like, first of all, this is fucking hilarious. And second of all, it was like, you started to learn like, oh, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu can beat everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, it got boring right away because it was just like, oh, well, if you remember the guy with one boxing glove? It was like Street Fighter 2. There was a guy with one boxing glove. So
how do I remember him?
Because it was the cast of Bloodsport. It was all these different guys.
This guy has a patch.
Yeah, this guy has a pirate gimmick, and this guy over here is, here's, what's his face, Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, and he's got like a American flag bandana. Ooh, I like him. He's cool looking. And here's the kickboxer. I don't think he's going to do very well. He's only got one martial arts discipline. This dude has 10. Nope. Blah, blah, blah. And the ref's going, do I stop it? No, let him die.
Yeah, exactly. Big John McCarthy, man.
Right.
Well, there was the one, remember, It's a black guy, huge, and he has this little Italian. He wraps him up full spread eagle and then elbows him in the face for 40 seconds and doesn't stop. You've seen the clip.
Probably.
He's stuck, legs wrapped, arms wrapped, and the guy's elbowing him in the. He's clearly asleep at elbow 3. He's about 12 deep, and then they come up and stop. You've seen the clip.
That's amazing. Yeah.
UFC 1 was basically unregulated.
Yeah. We'll be right back with some more brain damage after this.
What's up, guys? Taking a moment from this hilarious episode to talk about one of our sponsors, and that's Mint Mobile. Go to mintmobile.com/Yola, and that's going to allow you to start with one of their plans at little as $15 a month. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, 5G data delivered on the nation's highest speed network. Mint Mobile is changing the way that you think and the way that you purchase your phone plan. You can be at home right now with any phone service, any phone, and get Mint Mobile. Remember, starting as little as $15 a month by using our code YOLA, or go to mintmobile.com/Yola. Inflation is at an all-time high, and Mint Mobile has found a way to pass the savings directly to the customer. Right now, you can go to mintmobile.com and change your plan over from any single service that you have. You can change to Mint Mobile right now. You never even have to leave the room you're in. No surprise fees. There's no overages, no minutes rolling over. This is 100% unlimited talk and text, high-speed data delivered on the fastest 5G network in the nation. Once again, go to mintmobile.com/Yola and get your plan starting at as little as $15 a month. Thank you for supporting the brands that support us. Back to this episode.
Did you watch Nate Diaz, Jake Paul?
No, I did not see it. With all of those, I'm not a big fight fan, so whenever something big happens, I just try to I'll search YouTube right after it happens before the shit gets pulled down, because I'm like, I'm not paying to watch this shit. I don't know who's taking a dive, although I don't know. Is Jake Paul legit?
He looked great.
I think he's a good boxer, but I also think Nate Diaz, right before he went on, says, just remember, win or lose, this motherfucker can't really fight. And that's all he said.
It's kind of ominous. Yeah.
Bro, come on. Does that mean you just took a dive? That's sad. But also, you got paid.
You see, that's the thing, is he got paid. I don't think a guy like Nate Diaz would take a
fall.
No, I don't think so.
I hope. Then that means Jake Paul really worked him.
Well, Jake Paul is
he's a good. He looks like a boxer.
A lot of, again, I don't know anything about the fight game, but when I watch people break it down, it's like they're like, oh, this guy has what's up. He's been working his ass off. So it is interesting to see someone now, in the age of the internet. Someone is like, my older brother's blowing up on Vine and I want to do videos too. And now less than 15 years later, he's beating the living shit out of Nate Diaz. What kind of alternate reality are we in?
Right.
If you could get in a time machine, it's like Jake Paul has a weird, fucking chin beard and he's covered in tats and he's why? And he's fighting in front of, 20,000 people. And
you're not wrong.
It's fucking.
It's like you hit the time machine and you got warped. I came out. And no, you're completely right, because it's the YouTuber's little brother. That little kid with the blonde hair beating everyone's ass.
Yeah. The older kid, you're like, oh, I get it.
6'3".
He's a good looking dude. He's in great shape. He does all sorts of physical humor and stuff. Oh, now he's on YouTube. Oh, he's becoming a huge vlogger. He's a gigantic star. And then his kid brother's like, yeah, me too. And he's got rap music and, hey, you guys, you're doing your thing. Wonderful. And then out of nowhere, he's like, I think I'm going to be a boxer. Shut up. 5 years later. Watch this.
Multiple UFC legends.
Well, back to Vine. I forgot they were Vine guys. I loved Vine.
I never even knew that.
I loved Vine. And speaking of Vine, that's what we were talking about, Marty, because I feel like some of those clips I still see daily from your Vine, and I really miss Vine.
Vine was cool.
It was fun. Short, perfect.
Yeah, they really...
Not much effort.
It should have been, instead of 7 seconds, they should have been 3 seconds. Because nowadays, do you find this thing that you're flipping through Instagram? I literally, like I said, I'm a 48-year-old man. I was on a sketch show where some sketches were 6.5 minutes long. And then now I'm on Instagram, and if something doesn't smell like I'm going to like it or think it's funny, you scroll past it in the first second.
Instant.
It's crazy.
And then I feel bad.
Yeah.
I make content. Is that what people do to my shit?
Fuck yeah. And then I have people who I just flip through. It's like, I like you. I don't need to see it. You know what I mean? I like that. I always like this guy's shit.
Yeah.
And even if
supporting your shit,
they make a bad one, it's like, I don't care. I don't like it. It's like you've watched this one. I liked it. And I watched the first 10 seconds of it. Nah, it's all right. Yeah. I flip past. The analytics are completely screwed. We are watching, all of our algos are screwed. We're all watching shit that we shouldn't watch, that we don't necessarily like, because we're voting with our thumbs. And Jake Paul just beat the shit out of Nate Diaz. That's where we're at.
2023.
Yeah.
Demolition Man. I woke up. Yeah, remember in Demolition Man? Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Do you remember when they say President Schwarzenegger?
Oh, that's right.
He's like, he became the governor. His popularity became so massive that they changed the law and he became president.
Yeah.
That shit almost got real for a second. Remember he was the governor of our fucking state, guys?
Yeah.
For 2 terms.
They were like, no, not a mistake. Let's bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? That was pretty good. Hey,
Wild time in life.
and but to his credit, he like stopped being the movie star immediately. Like he was only the governor. You're like, all right, he's made the jump. And then as soon as it was over, he starts being hilarious. Like he's been fucking hilarious for 10 years now. Just going like, well, everything. Like he's like, gets into a mustache and into an outfit and goes into a gym and is like,
nobody would recognize me.
yeah.
He's got a paper mustache. And then he had the fake ponytail, right?
Yeah, with a hat going, look at this, you're doing it wrong, you have the wrong form, Who are you? My name is Barry, I'm the trainer here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm an all-American trainer here, Barry. Okay, Barry, where are you from? I am from Dayton, Ohio. Okay, where'd you get the accent? Dayton, Ohio. You've never been to Dayton. But he just starts being nuts as soon as he gets out of politics, which I appreciate. You can't really parody Arnold Schwarzenegger anymore. He's got 2 fucking like donkeys or whatever, mules, like running around, miniature donkeys at his house, feeding him. It is a chocolate chip cookie, like insane. It's like, what's sillier than that? He's like, oh, you guys want to make fun of me out there? Like I'm a big movie star. Watch this. I'm mountain biking around my backyard being followed by donkeys. What's sillier than that? One of my donkeys made a shit so disgusting that I invited that piece of crap Martin Shkreli over for chocolate chip cookies. Instead, I put the horse shit into the cookie. Then he ate it. He said, hey, this isn't chocolate chips. And I said, yeah, neither is this. Rub the shit in his mouth. Fuck you. You want to charge $700 for the HIV pill, you piece of shit. Fuck you. I'm a Republican and I'm telling you, this should be regulated. These should be. You shouldn't be allowed to hike up the price of life. Fucking eat this shit, you bitch. Now I got it on video because there's cameras everywhere in my house. Dudesy, show this on the... Hey, Dudesy, I know you're listening. Dudesy, play this video of me rubbing the shit in Martin Shkreli's mouth. And also, here's my friend, Jake Paul. Beat his ass. Beat his fucking ass. Hey, I know you. Your older brother was on... Fuck you up.
Vine. And that's why we need Vine back.
That's why we need
for
Vine.
things like this.
No, I think it's funny. You guys used to make similar content on Vine with lemons.
I used to make this lemons. I used to do this with all fruits. It'd just be like, what if? And I'd walk up to trees or random things and I'd open it up and it'd just be a bunch of weed fly out.
Oh,
it
cool.
was just fun, stupid shit. And when I met Marty, and the first episode I think we talked about, one day, if he ever comes on the show, and you talked about the Vine lemon thing, it's just, there's viral things that people will always remember. And I think there's like 40 of those on the internet. And from Vine, I would take the lemons one. I would take the lemons one, the screaming ones, the half gargle throw up ones. It's just that funny. It's just. I think it's just a whole generation's humor, and I think that's why the first thing you said was that. And honestly, for me, I've been a fan for Mad TV since I was a kid. I used to. What did I say? The first time I ever smoked weed, I drank a gallon of Tampico juice and watched Mad TV. I was 13.
13?
I was 13.
So let me ask you something. You're clearly steeped in the weed culture here. You smoke for the first time at 13?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Is that young?
Yes, of course. It's very young.
I think I was kind of old for my town. Like people were smoking like 6th grade type shit. Yeah. weed?
I smoked weed for the very first time at the age of 36.
Are you? No,
I'm dead serious.
wait, you're dead serious?
Yeah, and I'm from British Columbia where they have really good weed. Yeah. No, I was always, you know what my thing is, being a Canadian? I was like, I've always, I used to, I could drink my face off in my 20s and stuff, but luckily never had much of a hankering for it, like cheese sandwiches are my vice, I guess. But, and all the, whatever, you can also put meat in a sandwich. So anyway, I just never got into anything like that. And then you moved to LA. I was here as a young guy, and I was like, I don't want to get mixed up in anything. Like I was just such, like let me just keep my, Pollyanna Canadian thing going as long as possible. And I always said when friends of mine or whatever, people would be like, you never smoked weed. And I'm like, I will not smoke weed until I'm an American citizen, because I've just heard so many horror stories of people crossing the border, actors coming down here for a pilot season or something, and they have a roach in their pocket or something, they forget. And customs can be like, okay, you're not coming in for 5 months. You're not coming in for 5 years. You're not coming in ever again, And I'm living here and I'm working here and we're talking,
Gotcha.
Aftermath TV and all that stuff. So I'm like, that's not going to happen. So then I became a U.S. citizen years ago, and then it was always in the back of my mind. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna, maybe I'll try it. So I tried it for the first time at 36. Then I didn't really dig it for like 5 years, but then these past like 5 to 7 years, I don't drink. I haven't drank in like a dozen years or so. Again, just not really super into it, but I really do enjoy weed. And now when I go back to Canada, where I am also still a citizen, I'm blown away by how incredible
Legal it is.
Oh, dude, you can walk. There's no dispensary. It's not like there's no security guard. It's just like, it's a storefront window. It's a retail storefront with big weed leaf. Mm-hmm. And they're like, come in. I remember me and some of my buddies that I grew up with a couple summers ago or something, maybe a little longer, doesn't matter. But we go into this one place. It's not a dispensary. It's a place, a weed store.
Just normal.
And it's all out there. They don't, dude, so long as they don't need to card you like for your age. They don't care. They don't, no identification, nothing. They're like, what do you want? So my friends go in there and we're all, these are guys I grew up with. We're in our 40s and they go in there and I'm just like buying some weed. And two of these dudes did dabs. I've never done a dab. I have no interest.
Still to this day?
No, I'm not doing a dab. And so these guys, but we were like going for lunch or something, you know what I mean? And these guys like with a like, and then they were on another planet. Like go, and hey, we're here at lunch. What do you want? I don't know, maybe some chicken wings. How about this? Rub dog shit in it's pretty good, I guess. What does that taste like? Tastes like chocolate cake. But
your brain is like the way we converse and go, what the fuck did we talk about?
I smoked so much weed that dog shit tastes like chocolate cake.
He really goes to restaurants where it's dudes sitting with $50,000 fucking dab rigs everywhere. Just
really?
There's a certain restaurant where
and shit.
You just take dabs.
Is this Woody Harrelson's restaurant?
No, it's like a restaurant right off Rodeo. I won't say where, but it's right off Rodeo. It's like I felt very odd dabbing there. But there's like a little event and we were just dabbing in the middle of the day.
And he had Mrs. Doubtfire sitting right behind
Basically, had Mrs. Doubtfire behind me in the window behind me.
We went lady in a wheelchair. He's sitting there with this giant dab rig.
I tried to block it like this because she was behind me. I felt very odd.
That's wild.
But I still was just, it was, the world's changing.
Yeah, man. It is. It's interesting. The stigma that was attached to weed for so long, obviously calling it a drug when it's, goes through way less of a process than something like alcohol does. And, it is very interesting that, it's funny. There's, those videos where, where they have like an old person smoking weed for the first time with like a grand kid or something. One of my uncles in Italy, who's like the oldest of my mom's siblings, who was like, I mean, pushing 90 at this point. One of his grandsons did that with him. So he's like on YouTube. And I'm watching like, you know, one of the patriarchs of our family and like the most old school Italian guy. Great, wonderful man. Just the sweetest, most loving man. Uncle Jerry, Zio Gennaro. And he's like, and he basically says in Italian, like, you know what? It's not for me. Like when I was a kid, it's like, you know, you have a fucking, what are they, you know, limoncello and a beer. And he's like, but you're a good kid. And I get it. I understand it. It was nice to see. And it's also, it's like, it's mind blowing to me that it's like so acceptable. Although, you know, having done it at 13, I just, if I may, I wouldn't advise it. I don't like for young people to, for me, it's like, I don't like for young people to lean on it so much in some ways, even like creatively. Like people would go, I would have young actors and shit, people in comedy or whatever go, hey, at Mad TV, you guys were probably pretty smoked out. And it's like, no, everyone was trying to, you know, order low carb lunches, and we were drinking wheatgrass, and, you know, people were pretty chill over there. Certainly other people have their private lives, or sometimes there was someone with a problem, but there was no culture of marijuana. Certainly we would finish a show on a Friday night, a live show, and go out and have some drinks, but it's mind blowing now. And I also, you know, as a guy, you know, I'm an old man. So I go like, well, it's cool creatively if you can, you know, smoke a bit of weed, get some ideas. I can't write anything while I'm actually stoned, but you can get stoned, come up with the weirdest thing, jot it down in your phone, come back to it later, go, what the hell was it? Not bad. Spelled that wrong. Yeah, but the rest is good. We are in a weird time.
I've never went like, I need to think of stuff. Let me get creative. It's never been that for me. As a kid, I just smoked. I was like, I'm so curious. Everyone, you know, I was a straight A student, math student of the year kid, played football, captain. I was the straight edge kid. And my sister was the delinquent. And I was like, this is what you want to do all the time? Let me try it. Fuck.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? I was pissed. Like, bitch, let me fucking try it. And then I was like, all right. And we did at my grandma's. We watched Mad TV. We watched Cops.
So you were
to 10.
You were. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, from
Cops 9 to 10.
9 to 10. 10 to 11 is Mad TV.
You and John weren't just smoking weed, too.
No, me and my sister. This is me, right? Yeah. I was my first time, but that's what I did my grandma's my whole life. That's the order. And then at 11, if we can catch some of SNL, we would. But it was too old for me. I didn't like that shit unless it was Adam Sandler. Yeah. I just didn't think it was funny. But Mad TV is a whole different story. So I grew up on that. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about is my Uncle John, the one that I did smoke weed with all the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did a lot of drugs together. Oh. That was my uncle, right?
Sure.
And he passed away recently, but
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. He was that's one of my best friends, right?
He was the funny, awesome uncle.
He's just my uncle. He's my aunt's husband that married in.
Oh, wow.
So when I was like, you smoke weed? He's like, I do smoke weed.
Oh,
and then we just started smoking weed together. And then we grew into hanging out every day when I was an adult, and I was selling packs and weed and shit. Anyway, that's what I used to do and all that. But we constantly, I can quote every single thing, is my favorite skit of all time. I'm just going to say it here.
Please.
Is Elvis. Elvis in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Elvis in the car, the series. I remember the day it came out because I watched it with my sister. But when YouTube came out, it's like, you can YouTube everything that we've ever seen.
Right.
Okay, here's the search bar. So my favorite one is the Elvis one, when you can see through metal. And the Richard M. Nixon one. The same skit. I quoted a lot. I've quoted a lot at home.
Man.
And it's my favorite one. But I wanted to see, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
And they're for, you know how you say you come in a 10-minute podcast, like, it's not me. This is a different person in this room. You go ahead and we're going to talk. So I have a couple impersonations that you've done. I'm not sure if you're down, but I have a couple questions I would ask that person.
Who, E?
Huh?
Who, Elvis?
I have a couple people.
Okay.
That you've done. I'm a Mad TV fan.
That's awesome, dude.
I have the
appreciate
first
that.
6 on DVD. I couldn't fucking find them today. I tried to find them this morning. Don't know where they're at, but I have them in a box on all my DVDs. And I have a couple just I want to throw out there, maybe 2023 versions of these characters.
Okay.
Okay. So so I'm gonna throw out one, and I just want to see how you respond to it and how that person would respond to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying to word this right.
Dude, you are sitting way lower than you were before. I'm just joking.
I'm saying it hasn't moved yet. It hasn't moved.
He's like, oh, I'm so stoned of it. Dude, we can barely see your eyes over the table. Am I that fucked up?
We've had guests get like that.
Yeah. We had one of us half fall asleep, but he was shit-faced drunk.
Oh, no.
It was funny.
That's amazing.
It was pretty funny.
Just
though.
someone laying on the floor. He put a mic in front of him like they're John Lennon recording Strawberry Fields or something.
Was he that funny?
Yeah, he was laying on the... John Lennon laid on the floor and recorded the vocals for Strawberry Fields.
Talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Those guys. Now, those guys
Yes.
were on some... There was some stuff.
Acid.
Some of that
Everyone's
wacky
music
tobacco.
gets better when they start doing drugs, in my opinion.
I love the Beatles. They are my sentimental yet also legit favorite band of all time. And I don't really fuck with the stuff before 65. 66.
The little poppy shit, right?
I don't really like, I appreciate it. As far as that stuff goes, like they're incredible, them and the Stones, their early stuff. And then the Stones became like, just this incredible rhythm and blues, rock and roll explosion. And, that's amazing, their later years. But the Beatles' later years, just these
so much better.
Drug-induced super weirdos. And then you're speaking of me as a kid, sitting there eating a cheese sandwich, I'm sure, watching Yellow Submarine. And you don't realize it. Well, this thing is an LSD trip, the whole thing. And you're just like, oh, cool, blue meanies. Anyway, sorry, you were going to say something about Elvis. Hey, kids, we got some really current references here.
Hey, no, this is
Dope as usual podcast.
That's what we talk about.
This is shit we talk about.
Yeah, we got the Beatles. Hey, everybody remember that Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire? He was married to his 12-year-old cousin, that fucking weird.
Wolfman is coming up next, all right? To take over the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Sergeant
Everybody's
Pepper's.
the Wolf Man. We got the Turtles after this break and a superset from Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Do you do impersonations?
Yeah, that's my.
That sounded pretty good.
That's my Wolfman Jack. People love that. People love my Wolfman.
Hey, you know what the thing is? When people do and go, oh, I love that. I go, we're going to be fucking friends.
Yeah.
So that's fine because there are people we just talk about and people in the comments, never heard of that group. Thank you. Now I'm listening. Do you remember watching Sergeant Pepper's for the first time?
So, listening to it? What do you mean watching
the movie?
Oh, I've never seen the movie. I've never seen Sergeant Pepper.
Oh,
I've never seen the movie.
Good. The Bee Gees are the actors.
That's right. That's why I don't give a shit.
Oh no, you have to watch. It's a great movie.
Yeah, but does it have anything to do with the Beatles? Are they covering the Beatles songs?
All the songs and everything are Beatles soundtrack, and then what is it? Aerosmith when they're brand new is like the villain band.
Okay, I'm going to check.
They
this
have
out.
Steve Martin in there as Mr. Max Bang Bang Maxwell.
Maxwell Silverhammer.
He's in there as like a doctor, and Alice Cooper's in it, all crazy. Or no, Frank Zappa's in it doing the wild ass songs. So they have different artists covered.
I've never seen it.
It's a musical.
All I know is the iconic image of the Bee Gees in those.
It's a great movie.
General uniforms,
Yes,
or whatever.
yes.
And I'm just like pass, like I didn't care. Although the Bee
if
Gees
you
are
love
great.
the Beatles, that's one of my favorite. I watched when I was like 7 years old, and I've loved it ever since.
I'm gonna check that out.
It's great. Oh, it's great, dude.
Like he's saying, I was a little kid seeing all this shit, having no idea this is all acid deep references and shit.
Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad was on some different shit.
Yeah.
Marty's dad's a musician from the East Coast.
Oh cool.
And Marty's also a musician from the East Coast, but maybe your dad would like you to listen to Led Zeppelin a little more than just 50 Cent nonstop. But oh my God, can we get back into this?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a couple people. I wanted to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
So Mr. Robert De Niro, all right?
Okay.
Mr. Robert De Niro, I saw you had another kid at 79 years old.
Yeah.
And how are you taking that?
Usually you have a kid when you're younger, but then we have a kid when you're old. You go to the store with the kid and stroller. People say, "Is your grandson?" You say, "No, he's my son." "Why'd you have a kid so old?" And you say, "Can't stop fucking young ladies." I'm gonna say it. I love acting. I love having sex with younger women. I don't know. Oh, there's a screen of things. I'm not going to look at that. I don't understand. I don't know what I'm saying.
Thank you. That was pretty much it.
You have sex. Then 9 months later, baby comes out. You get to name it whatever you want. I called my baby Raging Bull, the film by Martin Scorsese. His first name is Raging Bull, the film by Martin. His last name is Scorsese.
It's different when people that can do impersonations actually look like the guy. Somehow
it's always that.
I can't do an impersonation without like
trying to look like the person.
Yeah, well, that's what helps you sound like him, I guess. But like, there are some impersonations where I'm like, I don't look or sound like this person, and it's fucking wild that I'm trying to contort my face to look like. Do Oprah Winfrey. Okay, I'm Oprah Winfrey. No, that's not. That's your voice. All right, hold on. Let me just find the face. Is this Oprah Winfrey? Yeah, pretty good. I'm Oprah Winfrey. Good Oprah Winfrey, Will. You're lighting another joint, dude. How many? Okay, you're. I know
the least amount of weed we've ever smoked.
I hear what you're. Yeah.
I still want to smoke you out. You know what I mean?
It's If I'm not going to start smoking, you're just going to start blowing it in my face.
No, I'm very sorry.
No, it's cool.
No, it's cool. Blow it right in my fucking.
I got a question. Oh no! Hold on. Is there another impersonation?
Oh yeah, I got a couple. Here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Jesse Ventura. What do you think about all these alien videos popping up and these aliens running around?
Well, a lot of people now are saying that these aliens might be from a different direction. They got David Grush, who was a high security clearance intelligence guy, and he's saying, trying to explain the third and fourth dimension to me. You couldn't even explain the third or fourth grade, college boy. You're trying to tell me that, or they're coming from deep in the ocean. I tell you about the ocean. I live in the Baja. I haven't had a bath in about 3 years. I just go into the salt water and let it cleanse me. And I always have lots of scrapes and cuts because I've gotten into falconing. And I don't like to use the gloves when I falcon. And because I'm always naked on the Baja, laying on a log, getting some sun on my skullet, sometimes the falcon will come up and mistake my cock and balls for a small rodent. And I might get typhoid from their claws because of all the rodents that they're picking up in the Baja on the brown brush. But if I go in the ocean for a half an hour, then it's fine. Hey, David Grush, how about you and I go snorkeling to 5,000 feet below? How long can you hold your breath underwater, David Grush? I bet it's not more than 10 seconds, pussy. But if you went, I'd go snorkeling with just a snorkel to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and I've never seen any of these purported UFOs that apparently predate humankind history underneath the Bermuda Triangle. And I've flown from I've jumped out of so many Indonesian planes, flying at 38,000 feet, pulling my chute about 20 feet from the surface of the ocean, landing with a big smack as the parachute rips into several pieces, snorkel my way down to the Marianas Trench where fish have lights sticking out of their heads, and I haven't seen any fucking UFOs flying out of there. I'll tell you where they're coming from. There's one chop shop in Merced, California, and these guys are stealing car parts and they're making UFOs, or UAPs as they call them now, unidentified aerial phenomena. I don't care what the fuck you call it. Those things, a lot of them have super trap mufflers on them and they make loud noise, but the ones I've been in have some pretty good sound systems. I'm starting to morph into other characters. I thought it was some pretty good sound systems. I like to have sex in a car. Have sex in a boat. I've even had sex in a UFO with an alien. Aliens, some of them live thousands of years. Aliens are always cradle robbing me because I'm so young, because I'm in my 70s. And they say, "Can you impregnate us? We want to make the best actor on our planet. Please have sex with the women." I say, "How old are they?" "This one's 2,000 years old." "No, too old." And then they show me, it looks like the blue lady in Guardians of the Galaxy. I say, "I'll do it." She looks like Zoe Saldana. "Okay, I'll have sex with you, alien. Let's make a little baby." Call him Alien Raging Bull, the movie by Martin Scorsese. De Niro. Robert De Niro and I like to hang out. Robert De Niro comes down to the Baja, to my casa, and we just have some scrambled eggs on tortilla and just, put some tapatio on that and have a good old time smoking weed and having falcons rip and tear at our dick and balls as we pass out from 2 joints laying on a log. Have a good time. Sorry.
Yo, what the?
I don't know. I'm stoned because of you guys. Now I'm on some stoned rant.
That was what I imagined Tom Brady's rant was like.
Yeah. Hey guys, Tom Brady here. Does everyone want to hear my Jesse Ventura impersonation? Here it goes. I don't know what David Grush is thinking, but I've been to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. How long can you hold your breath underwater, pussy? Folks, these are jokes. Good Jesse Ventura, Tom Brady.
I'm going to be honest. I'm so impressed that you can remember all of these things.
I don't remember anything.
You looped back.
Oh, he's a fucking.
You mean like the things that I said earlier? I'm just not as stoned as you. I can't even see your eyes. You're under the table,
I'm not
Thomas.
even really that high yet.
I just see the top of your hair. You are embarrassing yourself, sir. I know you've been at it since you're 13, but please, you fucking beginner, fucking noob over here. Yeah, you rook. Hey, you want to start boxing?
Oh God.
No.
What?
Why don't you just ditch all this incredible setup in the studio and everything and start amateur boxing?
I'm gonna start growing a beard now.
Yeah,
take 4 years.
Here. That's the other thing is he's trolling us with his beard.
So you can't see his chin.
There you go. I hate his beard. I have respect for him as an athlete. And Logan Paul, who's having some of the most incredible matches in the WWE.
He's a wrestler.
I'm sure we'll get to it. Dude, he's amazing. He's built for it. His it's
like Edge. He's built like Edge.
He is built like Edge. You like wrestling? Of course you like wrestling. Everybody loves wrestling. He was built for it. He's athletic as fuck. He's a physical comedian and can do it and has been training hard at the thing and everyone and training one-on-one with Shawn Michaels, who's one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time. Incredible. And then he has he can talk for days.
Yep.
He's incredible on the mic. And he's a natural heel and he leans into it. It's like I hate the whole, and this is funny because I've done shit with them like wrestling stuff and been fortunate enough to appear in things. And when we would do like, cross promotion or for Mad TV or this or that. And we did one with the Three Stooges too, the movie. And it's like, I always hate it as a wrestling purist, as I like to say about myself. I don't like it when celebrities get into wrestling because you're watching like Jay Leno put Hulk Hogan in a headlock and shit in the WCW in the 90s. It's like, no.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, dude, they did this garbage with like, and it's like, what? Hulk Hogan, was one of the, the guy's he's Hulk Hogan. He's Superman. And it's like, sure, in the 90s, you got an inch shorter. So what is he now? 6'6", 3 bills, and Jay Leno. That's my Robert De Niro, everybody. And yeah, but Logan Paul doing that stuff, I was like, ugh, don't do this. Nobody wants to see this. And then as soon as he had his first match, I was like, interesting. Wonder if it's a one-off. Nope, there's another one. Now I was at WrestleMania this year.
Oh, wow.
And he went one-on-one with Seth Rollins, who's, again, he's in the mold of a Shawn Michaels. Seth Rollins, nobody there's wrestlers as good as Seth Rollins, but he's at the top of the list with like a Bryan Danielson and guys like that. Like Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins, and Logan Paul's had an awesome match with him. It was mind blowing.
I've never seen it live.
Oh, really?
No.
It's an experience, man. Hey, speaking of weed, I smoked, WrestleMania was a 2-day event. It was at SoFi this year. So I had to go,
Down the street.
Yeah, dude. It was at SoFi. And it was insane. It was insanity. It was a really great show. I've seen every WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. I'm a big wrestling fan. And so my wife and I went, and so we get there, and I'm like, okay. And I start smoking as we're like walking. She's like, you're going to get, I'm like, it's the only way I can watch wrestling now. It's the most enjoyable. As a matter of fact, my wife, who doesn't, she's not like a big, not super into pot. But if I can get her to smoke a little bit of weed, then she enjoys the living shit, because it starts to become real to the layperson who hasn't really watched it their whole life. So she's like, hey, he cheated and shit like that. And you're like, yeah, now I got you. And then the next day she's like, no, I don't want to watch any more wrestling. I watched wrestling yesterday.
We did that.
I'm good for 3 months. But yeah, I went to WrestleMania, like high as shit. Like, oh my God, even brought a joint in, like maybe no one will give a fuck. Whatever. Anyway, and then I didn't smoke it, and smoked a little bit of it. And so, and he had this match with Seth Rollins. I'm sorry. I'm getting a contact high and I'm talking about wrestling.
It's fine.
Well, we liked reading Iron Sheik tweets a lot.
Dude, that was our thing.
Rest in peace, Iron Sheik.
Did you follow his Twitter?
Oh, fuck yeah.
So fun. He goes after Hulk Hogan
so much. Yeah.
That was one of our ongoing things. We just read Iron Sheik tweets every couple weeks for like 8 months straight.
Yeah.
He's too funny, man.
Fuck you, Hulk Hogan, you dumb son of a bitch. I have a 10-inch cock.
What? Calm down, Cheeky baby. Calm down.
Well, what about Hulk doing the obituary now? It's fucking weird, right?
He did an obituary?
He put out a statement.
Right, yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, dude. Sheiky baby, dude. He handed me that strap in 1983, brother, because they had to get it from Bob Backlund to me, dude. They were starting that. Vince had a vision of Hulkamania, dude. So I said to Cosbro, well, hold on, dude. Hold on, Tonks. Hold on, Marty. Cosbro is Sheik's real name, dude. And I said, hey, Sheiky baby, you going to do the job for me? And he said, Hulk, I don't know. This is Hulk Hogan doing Iron Sheik. No. Anyway.
I was saying, how are you going to layer that shit?
Did you know that hey guys, here's some stuff about wrestling no one asked to hear about. Did you know that when Hulk Hogan, in 1983, he won the WWF world title from the Iron Sheik, and Hulkamania was born, that there was, I'm going up on the name. Vern Gagne, who owned the AWA, that promotion. Vern Gagne gave Sheik some amount of money, or offered him an amount of money to break Hogan's leg during that match, because Hulk Hogan had left the AWA, and if I'm remembering it correctly, he left the AWA to do. I think he left the AWA to do Rocky III, to do the movie and play Thunder Lips. If I'm wrong, he left the WWE, and then, because he was in the WWE also for a period in the late 70s or something, early 80s. But I believe he was in the AWA. He wanted to do this movie. They wanted him to do Rocky and to play Thunder Lips. And Vern Gagne was like, no, you're a wrestler. You're under contract. You're my guy, whatever. So he quit and he left, and Rocky III blew up. And I don't know if it was before that or coinciding with it. Vince McMahon probably had the foresight to go, this is going to be huge. And they brought Hogan into the WWE. And he left because, so Vern Gagne kind of put a bounty out on Hulk Hogan. To break his leg. Yeah. I'm going to fuck with my chair now.
Yeah, I was thinking we need new chairs.
Mm-hmm. No, these chairs are good. These are good chairs.
All right. Now, You were involved, speaking of fighting, in one of the most legendary fight scenes, beatdown scenes of all time, as far as I'm concerned, in a movie that I'm hoping you might have some sort of stories about at the hands of Chris motherfucking Farley.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be in the movie Beverly Hills Ninja, starring Chris Farley and Chris Rock and Nicolette Sheridan. And I think about that now, that movie shot in 96 here in LA. And I'm like, it seems like another lifetime that I got to do that with someone who is one of my absolute at the top of my list as far as, influences and idols in comedy and acting.
What was
in
he
general.
like in person?
He was the nicest man in the world.
Awesome.
He was the sweetest guy. He was such a sweetheart. I always tell this story that we're sitting there on, we shot this stuff. In the movie, I play this guy, Chet Walters, who's, he makes counterfeit money. He's like, hey, at the Beverly Hills banknote. Hey, how are you, Chet Walters? Come on in. What can I do you for? And because eventually that character gets subdued or by Farley and Nicolette Sheridan, and then he takes that guy's place when the bad guys pick him up in the van. And he's like, hey, how are you? Da da da. And it's like, oh, it's that guy. It's the same. That's the same fat guy with a mustache, right? So it was like reverse engineering and I was fortunate enough to do a movie the year before with the same director, Dennis Dugan, who's done a bunch of incredible, iconic comedies, and he directed Happy Gilmore the year before. And so the next year, and I was in that, and then the next year he said, you should put yourself on tape. I think you could do this role. Because it was literally, a fat guy with a mustache who's in a couple scenes. And then Chris Farley, it's like the character is going to be like this. He's some Chicago, like. It
reminds me of the Bears character.
It's exactly that. He's just this Wisconsin, middle, just Midwest guy. So at any rate, I'm in the movie. We're sitting there on set and we're outside and these dudes walk by. They're probably like 20 years old or something. And they walk, there's this fencing and shit. And they walk by and they clock that they see Chris Farley there sitting, in this chair outside. They run away. 20 minutes later, they come back with like dog-eared posters of Tommy Boy and Black Sheep and like, worn out VHS tapes. And they were like, and a Sharpie, and they, wanted to meet Chris and get an autograph. And there was a security guard over there, and Farley was like, let him in, come on, let him in. So they come in, and he spent a bunch of time with them. And I'll just never forget just watching him write like a novel on these kids' poster, awesome. Tommy Boy poster. Just like, and he is, I think the thing, I didn't, of course, know Chris Farley well in any way. I got to hang out with him a very little bit, and then I got to do this movie thing, and like saw him did a couple things. I got to hang out, and but he was, if I may, I feel like I think everyone that watched him knows that that's just the genuine article. That's who he was. As a matter of fact, my buddy Tommy Blotcha, whom I mentioned, was in the Chicago comedy scene in the 80s and 90s and stuff. And he goes, oh, even if Farley never became, if he never went on Saturday Night Live or did anything of that, you would have people to this day going, oh, funniest guy I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. It ain't so-and-so and so-and-so from the movies. It's this fucking dude who has a string of stories, and you got to see his impression of his 600-pound dad trying to get out of a lazy boy. Like, that's the funniest thing in the world. You know what I mean? And apparently he used to do that. But he was so true blue. And as he's signing this thing, he just kept saying to the guys, thanks, guys. Thanks. Thank you, guys. Thanks. He said thanks 100 times and was just sweet to everyone in the crew. He was one of those people that you're like, the crew was like, they're working, but they're also kind of not working because it was just a joy. He was a joy to be around. And all those guys, like I said, I did Happy Gilmore and Adam Sandler. One day we're leaving the set, and there's just a couple vans, and people are going to lunch to wherever the trailers and stuff, and Sandler's getting in the van, and there's these couple neighborhood kids on their bikes. They're like, like pull up on this movie set, and here's Adam Sandler, and he's going into the van, and he sees them, and he just goes, "Don't steal anything," right? And they laugh, and then everyone goes to lunch. He comes back, the kids are still there. He spent 15, 20, 25 minutes, I don't know how long, just hanging out with the kids. We're back on the clock.
Yeah.
The AD or whomever, these like the guys with the headsets are like, where's Adam? He's outside talking to those kids, and he's not coming in until he's done talking to the kids. And not because he's, trying to be a mensch or something, not because it's going to get picked up by, there's no internet.
Yeah.
He's fucking hanging with those kids because they watch him on Saturday Night Live. And these guys, watched Farley on Saturday Night Live in these movies, and it meant the world to them. And he was just the sweetest man. And I think, it's obviously, it's a terrible, terrible loss because he was just an angel of comedy for real. Just one of the funniest. There's nothing funnier than the funniest Chris Farley show. It's like Seth Rollins. You can be as good. No, it's like there are things that are as funny as that. Comedy is completely, subjective. Am I saying that? Is it subjective or objective? Subjective. Subjective. See, I'm contact high. I forgot what subjective meant. But there's nothing funnier than Chris Farley doing. Even I remember there was that one sketch where it was this British toothpaste. You remember this one where they're like, it's the British toothpaste. It's good for, and all of their teeth are
nasty
because it's like the trope of British people not having good teeth.
About the coffee one, never mind.
Oh, there's that one too.
Yeah.
3 fucking lines, and it's the funniest thing in the world.
He freaks out on everybody.
But he's in the. It's like the toothpaste. It's McEwen's toothpaste or whatever thing. And they're going, and everyone's doing the bit, and they're going around this pub, and it's this 2 commercial pre-tape thing. And then it's just Farley with these giant lamb chop sideburns going, and it tastes great on a cracker, and eats it. And you're like, ah! One fucking line. He's just kind of the funniest person to ever be. The funniest person, not there's the funniest comedic actor, there's the funniest stand-up comedian, there's the funniest radio, like Howard Stern is the best at what he does, here's the funniest podcaster or whatever. Chris Farley is just the funniest overall person. Anyway,
this might be a stupid question. Did he ever do stand-up?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either.
You guys are kind of similar. Like when you were just describing him, you were kind of describing yourself too. Like you're similar careers.
I don't know about that. Well, hold on, dude. Hold on, Marty. I don't know about that, dude. That's what we call sacrilege, brother. That's a fucking straight up lie. No, he went through, the Second City and all that stuff. And I don't believe that if he did, I never saw any of it. Maybe he did. Maybe he jumped up on stage.
As like a comedian, though.
Well, I think people just say comedian about anyone who's funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
There's nothing but comedic performers and improvisers that have gone through Saturday Night Live, obviously, that never did stand up.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, fucking one of the funniest motherfuckers. It's like Molly Shannon, not a stand up. Same thing at Mad TV. There's people that do both, and that's amazing if you can do both.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that's amazing that you can do both, but it's amazing that people can have a career at both. If you're good at one thing, because they don't necessarily translate. They're very different animals.
I know you've had all the biggest podcasters in the world trying to peer pressure you into getting into stand up.
Right. I don't know about that either, Marty.
I've heard them all, everybody trying to get you to do stand up.
Oh, well, Bobby Lee, who is one of the biggest podcasters in the world, was on Mad TV, of course, and I did his podcast a few years ago, and more recently, but a few years ago when I was on Tiger Belly, he was like, because that's what Bobby and I talk about, but he quickly gets pissed off. He's like, fuck you. You know what? Don't ever do it. Fuck you. Yeah. Just screw you. I don't want to talk about it. Because he'll bring it up. Why the fuck? What's wrong with you? Why don't you do? And I'm like, well, and I have my reasons.
He doesn't want to hear it.
What?
He doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah. Then he's just like, well, you're wrong. Shut up. I don't want to talk about it. I got to go, actually. Bye. But Yeah, I don't know. I think that I mean, I love great stand-up. Some of, like we had, when I was a kid, we had the albums, we had, Pryor and Carlin and Steve Martin and all that shit in the house. And I think stand-up is absolutely, I mean, there's nothing better than great stand-up. Just someone getting up on stage and telling a story or just going through their set for an hour and a bit is it's an incredible talent. But yeah, it's different. I think that it's I don't know. It's a completely different thing, and I think it's a different thing for an audience. Like seeing Bobby's a great example because he does both. Seeing Bobby on Mad TV, you're laughing for a bunch of reasons at why his performance is funny and what he's doing is hilarious. And when you go see him do stand up, you're laughing for a couple similar reasons, but the rest of them are totally different. And it's a testament to Bobby's one of the funniest people I've ever met, certainly. So it's a testament to being able to be an artist in two different things. I mean, Bobby's, he acts and does shit like that. He's on that show now, the second season of And Just Like That, the Sex and the City reboot, which my wife is watching.
That's right. He's we just watched the first movie, right?
He does a podcast or something in the show, right? I've only caught.
We watched the first one.
Okay. See, I watched a little bit of it because, like I said, my wife is watching it. So, but otherwise, I would not. Didn't watch the original series and wouldn't know that Bobby's in it. So if I ever talk to Bobby about acting, he's like, I don't know. It's like, you're on a big fucking. Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of shit.
Yeah, he's an actor.
See him everywhere.
I feel like he doesn't even want to admit that he's
definitely
not admit, but I don't think he even thinks of himself as an actor. That's my thing. He's just a funny fucking guy. I did a movie actually a year ago or so, and the director was like, "We're going to try and get Bobby Lee to do this other part," and I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, if you want to mention it to him." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll mention it to him," but I forgot to. And then I was showing up to do Tiger Belly, and this is whatever, like over a year ago. And I'm walking up, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm doing that movie that you're in." I was like, "What do you mean? What movie?" He's like, "Yeah, we're doing a movie together." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you're doing it." It's like people want him in everything. It was awesome to get to do. Anytime I get to share the screen with Bobby Lee, it's fun because I feel like we fall back into the old Mad TV stuff. It starts.
What movie was it?
It hasn't come out yet. It's called The Throwback. It's with Justina Machado and Greg Sulkin and Michelle Randolph and myself, and Bobby's in it. But yeah, and Justina is incredible. She's the lead in this movie. And it's about, Justina Machado? She was the lead in the oh no, I'm forgetting the name of the show. It was the Netflix reboot of Norman Lear's never mind.
It's the weed. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Here, look how much I've smoked. One Day at a Time. That was the name of the show. One Day at a Time, and she was the lead of that. She's just a tremendous actor.
Can I tell you one of the funniest things that I've ever seen? Like how you talk about Chris Farley, video clip I share all the time. So back in the day, I started out working for Fighter and the Kid this past weekend. Back episode 1.
Wow.
Rogan, Adam Carolla, all those guys. As like a graphic designer, apparel designer.
Oh,
all
cool.
that type of thing. So I was there for the whole ride.
Wow,
and we did the Fighter and the Kid 3D, which was a 12-part sketch series that they did. One of the funniest things of all time was this episode called Bully, where Will was terrorizing Brennan and Brian.
Yeah.
They're showing up to the studio. He's kind of just took over the whole podcast.
Right.
And then they try to kill him and they can't kill him.
Right. He's just this impossibly annoying version of myself. I am extremely annoying. And I'm like hanging out in the studio and like they can't get rid of me. And I'm in the office and like, raiding the fridge and opening up Tupperware and stuff and eating whatever. And they're like, hey, Will, maybe you should. And I get really obtuse and in their face about everything. And then I just remember the end of it was they beat the shit out of me and stabbed and punched me like in the trunk of a car, like I was in Goodfellas or something. Billy Bats, like just bleeding in the. I have a selfie somewhere on my phone of me going with like just my face covered in blood, clearly in the trunk of a car taking a selfie, and then I think they drag me up like in a construction site or something on a pile of dirt, and I'm still not dead, still talking
shit the whole time. They open up the trunk, stab him with a shovel, throw a rock on him.
Right, you guys, you call that murder?
Oh God,
that was fun. But Brian is unconscious. Like he's another one of those guys that like if I goof around with Brian, it's like we're like two twins who like juggling bowling pins while smoking a cigarette, and it's like he's just the same kind of idiotic sense of humor, if I may. Yeah,
it's funny because I've been living out here for like 10 years. I'm from Buffalo, but when I was in Buffalo, I connected with Brian when he was doing the Brian Callen show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then when I moved out here, I reached out to him and he put me on, got me into the whole podcasting thing.
That's Brian.
And then inadvertently, right when I was meeting Thomas and like deciding, okay, I'm going to do my own thing now, he like linked me with the biggest person in the video world that got me on like real commercials, real TV shows. Like Brian was the ultimate plug for that. I could never thank him enough.
That's cool. I think that Brian's a sweetheart, and he's one of these guys who I don't think he knows like the level at which some of the people that he knows.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
It was like that.
He's just like, oh, I got a friend that does that.
Yeah,
like
he put me on the phone with people. It could be some random guy that he knows, or it could be a top Hollywood showrunner.
Right.
He wants to start a podcast. Here, talk to him.
Yeah.
Oh,
it'll change your life.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Brian's amazing for that. He's one of those people who's like, what are you, a fucking idiot? Why aren't you doing stand-up?
That's what I was really referring to.
Yeah. But then from there it devolves and we start joking around talking about chimpanzees or something, like it's never, I don't think that we've had a serious conversation in the years that I've known him. That's not possible.
And one other thing I mentioned.
Yeah.
You guys really make him look and sound so small. When he came on our show, he is not that small of a guy.
He's like 6 foot.
I thought he was a little man.
Right. No.
Not at all.
No, because he's always hanging around with big
giants.
Yeah. He's fascinated with, he has boy crushes on everybody. He's always talking about, it's like, it's fine. It's like, whatever. That's and he's I don't know, he's just obsessed with like men, so he's like, look at that guy, he's so big and strong, and you're like, whatever, all right, oh, I bet wow, I wonder what his stomach muscles look like, and you're like, I guess, all right, big guy. But then I'm a guy who like, I watch wrestling, and it's like, I guess I don't like, I think the same thing, like, oh, that guy has a great physique. Logan Paul, are you kidding me? Great physique. Guy's original name, good, as Vince McMahon would say, strong name. Oh, strong name. Good look, good physique. I tell you what, pal. And so I'm that same way, but Brian will do that with like people just walking down the street. You can't
make it awkward.
One time, I was having lunch with some friends, and one of my friends is, big, tall, handsome actor guy, right? And just in the way that everyone can agree on, just a very handsome man. And Brian came and met us, and he meets my friend, and that guy's a ham too, this friend of mine. And so Brian's like, oh wow, you're striking, gee whiz. And Brian starts being very Brian, talking about, oh, look at the symmetry, and geez, you have bowling balls for shoulders, or whatever Brian says. And the guy goes, and my buddy is like, falls in line with the humor. He's a funny guy, and he's wearing sunglasses. He goes, yeah, that's right. Check this out. Takes his sunglasses, whatever, his beautiful blue eyes. And Brian goes, wow. And then I think that probably graduated to the two of them showing each other their own pictures of their penises on their phone. I would imagine.
Like this.
I would imagine. Yeah. Let's take some pictures together. So I think Brian's just fascinated with the male form, but that's a lot of. So is Michelangelo. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is, Brian's an artist.
Yep.
Fig leaf in front of your junk or not, an artist.
Great explanation.
Yeah.
That started from I thought he was little. He's an artist.
He's an artist. He's a 6 foot. He's a 5'10" and a half, 5'11" ish artist. Yeah, but he hangs out with all of these guys, these big, the UFC guys and all that stuff. So it's like, of course he looks small compared to these. That's what he surrounds himself. He just looks like he always looks like a football coach everywhere.
There you go. That's what it is.
That's what he looks like.
He needs a clipboard or some shit.
Yeah, he just
That's
looks
a good
like
explanation. We tried to say it earlier, but what does he look like?
He looks like. This is another current reference, but I don't know. He just looks like a Marty Schottenheimer or something, coaching the Chiefs in the '90s. Like, just this guy looks like your substitute teacher or something, and he's constantly around giant men. That's where he's most comfortable. That's where he gets that's his muse. That's his inspiration for the art that comes. That's why all of his stand-up is about these things. Yeah, he should do a stand-up special just called just male muscles. That would be a good one. And he just talks about the bicep is tricep. Just people like, what? Who gives a fuck? Shut up, dude. That's his next special. Shut up, dude.
Now, I saw a headline I wanted to get your quick input on. Dana White announcing it's going to be $1 billion fight.
on.
The Rome Coliseum. It's probably all bullshit between Elon and Zuckerberg.
They're saying it's happening at the Roman Coliseum.
That's what Dana White's out on Instagram talking
I mean,
about.
look, if you're going to do it.
Yeah, why not?
And I don't know what the rules are in Italy about the Coliseum and what they allow in there.
Probably don't want that type of shit.
I would imagine so. And Dana White's trying to drum up some publicity to perhaps make it happen.
God knows.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But who do you got?
Who do I got? With either, everybody's taking Zuckerberg. Because he's look, again, I don't follow the fight game or anything.
Me neither.
But he's rolling around on a floor doing jiu-jitsu. And he's got some kind of belt. He's got the pistachio belt or something, some shitty
fourth level belt.
Right. But it's like, that's more than what's his Elon
Musk?
Alan Muck, as I like to call him, is doing. That guy's he's on we've all seen them, whatever. I catch myself in the mirror and I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? But this guy's out there with his shirt off, in Monaco on a yacht and just looking like cottage cheese. Yeah. He's gonna get his head kicked in. He could get, everyone's, kid's sister beat his head. I don't know. I don't think
That's how you feel? Yeah.
I thought it was completely different.
When I asked him, he thought the old man strength on Elon was just going to completely...
That's a good point.
And his head is big.
He's got a huge dome that could probably...
He could just, and did you know Mark Zuckerberg is 5'7"?
No, I didn't know that.
He's a little guy.
See, now we're getting into some UFC 1 shit.
Wow,
because
you're a little guy.
Dude, that's like UFC 1. No weight classes. Punch him in the dick. Just don't fish hook him. It's going to be Elon Musk with his big, huge, wide face that could just take tons of punches, right? And he sucks. He doesn't know how to fight. He's going to be like that, like that guy with the 10 disciplines, in UFC 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have, but yeah, this is...
That's what you imagined him hitting? When you did that, I just imagined this massive man.
I don't know how big or small he is, but if he's much bigger than Mark Zuckerberg, then that is a difference maker. He's the sumo wrestler in that example of UFC 1, where it's like, here's the sumo wrestler guy, and here's the other guy who's just going to kick him in the face, couple dozen times until you have to stop it. I still got Mark Zuckerberg, but that's maybe because I'm just like bummed on what Elon did to Twitter. But having said that, I don't give a shit about Twitter because mine got hacked by a Russian crypto bot last fall, and I tried to get it back like twice.
You weren't kidding at all.
No.
Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck about Twitter.
Somebody really hacked it?
Yeah, and then I tried to get it back and I couldn't. I was like, I don't fucking care. I don't really tweet anyway.
They have your name and your account still?
Yeah, I don't care.
But they're posting like crypto shit.
I have no idea.
Yeah, they posted a bunch of spammy shit.
Really?
It's like spammy shit, and then it's like you on a couch.
They still post things of me, or it's just that's
No,
what
that's
shows
like
up?
the last post.
Oh, okay.
Before
See,
it got taken.
yeah, but the internet is so deep now that it doesn't even matter. To me, it doesn't even like have my Twitter. I don't care. Like, to me, it just doesn't. It does not matter what, like, shit like that. If you're not using it, if you're using it, it matters. But if you're not, it's like, I don't really give a shit. It's actually a testament to how we shouldn't pay as much attention to social media as we do, that you lose an app or forget something or delete your whatever, and then you're like, oh, this is totally fine. Throw your phone in the ocean.
I was say, damn, even just a little bit, because I've been taken down so many times. I'm like, one day I'm gonna find you.
And Twitter just didn't give a shit when you tried to tell them about your account being hacked.
I mean, what do? You email the thing, you fill out the form, and they either give it back to you or they don't. So they were like, so I guess, no, I don't know. I don't know who the hell the email goes to. You just, whatever, you click on the thing and you write a dumb email to whoever the hell reads those.
Please help me out.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what the, you know, and it's like, it's not like I know, I guess Jack Dorsey at the time, or it's like, I have no inroad is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I don't have an in at Twitter. So I think because of what he did, you know what? I'm happy about what Elon Musk is doing to Twitter, because Twitter let my Twitter get hacked, but now it's X. So you know what? I'm going with Elon.
Yeah, what a turnaround. Yeah. I love the range of emotions.
I realize that I'm actually happy that Elon Musk, you know what I think is happening? We talked about this on Dudesy, but I think that, you know, look, he has wanted to make X happen forever. Mm-hmm. He bought the domain in 1999. Oh. He tried to make PayPal X. He called it X. Peter Thiel renamed it PayPal. And he's, you know, one of his children has a few X's in their name, right? Like he's into the letter X. That's you know, that's fine. Weird, especially when it's like everything like extreme was 25 years ago. Like we don't really use like Backstreet Boys ends with a Z. We don't really do that anymore. So, but this motherfucker, you know, this weird, I don't know where this Nordic weirdo is like, I like X. Oh no, he's from South Africa. Whatever. This weirdo's like, X, okay. I think he's doing it because he wants to make X the altogether. I think that's all true. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you where the troll is. But I think he wants to make this the one-stop shopping for all of your social media, even banking. He wants to do, I don't know how you don't do that. Don't use X banking. And make it everything. Make it a network for media, do shows, do
just not Twitter.
But how do you, if you've got something that's the bane of your existence, that's like Twitter, which, you know, legally he was forced to buy it because of, I don't know the particulars, Google it, but he made the offer on Twitter and he was held to it. And I think he didn't want to spend the money on it, but he was forced to buy it. He's got $350 billion. He doesn't care. He's doing what he wants with it. He fires most of the staff, has to bring them back because he's like, oops, we don't know how to work that part. Now it's real scaled down. He's fucked it up. And I feel like I want to make X over on this side. I want to do this thing, this whole app. And Twitter's the bane of my existence because it would be a huge competitor to X. And it's also something that I've been forced to buy. I know I'll rebrand it as X, and I don't give a shit if it loses however much, whatever insane percentage of its value that it's lost. It doesn't matter. He's got more money than any human being could ever use in any way, to the degree that he fucking bought Twitter for $44 billion. It's absolutely insane. Anyway, I feel like it's the biggest troll of all time. I am getting rid of the thing that you love because I'm Elon Musk, the troll. And he is a troll. He's trolly as fuck.
His Twitter account, I thought that was a fake account.
Sure, absolutely.
The shit he says,
He's responding to everybody, and it's nuts. It's stupid.
it's like Jake Paul's knocking people out.
Yeah.
Same thing. It goes back to the richest man in the world's trolling fools on Twitter.
That's right. The richest man in the world is would rather be an internet troll. Hey,
Smoking weed with Rogan, trolling people.
Oh shit, for real.
trying to pretend that he's not stoned. That was amazing. Where he's like, no, I have a superhuman brain that doesn't
It's fine.
react to this. Yeah, I also get drunk off of sour milk like the aliens in Alien Nation. There's another deep cut. Hey,
Alien Nation. I'm trying to think of
yeah, I
what
don't
it
know.
is.
Hey, you kids remember the Texaco Comedy Hour with Pat Boone? Never mind.
1959.
Yeah, 1959. Hey, everybody, we got Sid Caesar with your show of shows. Some of the most current. Sid Caesar's a fucking genius, though. All right, I'm going to have a puff.
Oh, there we go.
One puff. One puff.
Light it. There you go. Damn, guys, we really
We're
went
officially
through.
legendary now.
Yeah, we really went through a string of just brain spurts here, guys. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember
That's what I
what
was
we were
hoping for.
talking about, and I don't remember, which is great.
We were talking about the Roman Coliseum, and
Damn, see,
Elon.
36. That's what would happen if I
I'm the
waited until
lead-
36.
I'm just the least stoned. That's all. Don't be like, wow, he pulled it back. It's a thing we were talking about 7 minutes ago, and I'm not as fucked up as you guys. That's all.
Right.
Maybe, but I think this happens to me on the daily.
I have. Look, I think it's, if I can say something self-deprecating. So I talk too much. Anyway, I annoy my close friends and everybody I know with how sometimes I tend to ramble. Okay, but when I smoke some weed, friends of mine are like, "Yo, like your stories have details in them that are completely unnecessary. Like, we don't need to know what color the car was. You know what I mean? Like, or my good friends, Chad from the Pod Show and Marshall Cook, I like to call him Marshall Joint Compound Cook. We'll be hanging out, we'll smoke some weed, and then it'll be like, I'll be telling a story, and here's the objective over here. It's the letter G, and all I have to do is A to G, and I just go B, C, D, E, F. And because I am filling in stuff to the degree that they're like, who's that guy? I thought this was a story about this guy. Yeah, but that guy knows him, and dude, you can't, you know what? You don't get to tell the story now. You told us a story, and you chose to tell us a story about the guy who the story isn't about. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. I'm not listening to the rest of your story.
It's called Rant City.
Yeah.
That's what we do every week.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and then we used to do things
like
like,
a
what the
lightning
fuck was I
bolt.
talking about?
Yeah.
That was the segment.
Branches off.
What the fuck was I talking
And
about?
if any of us say that, we bring up a fan question.
That's a great
Because
idea.
we do it often. What the fuck? All right, fan question. Damn, I forgot. And then we'll come back.
That's like the, remember that movie Idiocracy?
I was going to say the world is idiocracy
Of course. And the number one show in the world is Ow My Balls. That's going to be the biggest podcast. You'd need to start that because that's going to be the biggest podcast in about 5 to 10 years on the planet. It's called What the Fuck Was I Saying? Because we're all like, duh.
YouTube short kids.
Yeah.
Just getting all fucking dumb. I feel dumb off scrolling, so I feel it.
That's a good idea for another show. I'd like to do a show called Scrolling Fast, and all it is you watch it on your phone, and it just does the scrolling for you, and you can't make fucking sense of anything. You don't watch a video, see a picture, read any description. It's just, and it plays whatever piece of shit TikTok song is popular right now. It's just scrolling and going makeba gembela makeba, and you just colors and letters whizzing by. This is the biggest fucking show, and people watching it on TV. Well, people are like, all right, let me see. Netflix purchased Scrolling Fast, and so let's check it out. You tell your parents to watch Scrolling Fast on Netflix.
You know what's scary is that's totally reasonable for it to be a show.
And Dudesy created it.
Yeah.
Shit. It all started from Dudesy.
Well,
They made 30. Oh, Skynet.
most things do.
Skynet. I'm just slowly sinking. I'm just, this is just getting lower.
This is nice. This is very
Lemon.
fragrant. Lemon.
Lemon.
There it is.
It's really good.
Do you have preferences on the weed you like?
I when I go into the dispensary, I'm like, I do need something that's like, hey, something laughy and social. But if I smoke a straight sativa, is this a straight sativa?
No, it's a hybrid.
Hybrid, that's what I smoke. Yeah. So if I do a straight sativa, I'll like hike for 3 hours. Like I can't. Shit. I'm one of those clean the kitchen guys. Although my kitchen could use some organizing. If I smoke a sativa, then I get too a little too peaked, a little too heady.
Well, damn, I wish I could do that. I just get high at all forms and just it's the same.
It all does the same thing, dude.
Yeah.
See, I have buddies up north. One of my pals is like, and I don't know how he does it now that I'm a weed smoker, but he'll take several months or even a year off of weed. He'll literally, I've seen him be like, like whatever. Oh, I'm not smoking until December, and it's like, well, that's 5 months, and hang out with other friends of like our pals and in someone's backyard, and we're smoking. He's like, no, I'm gonna be over here. An incredible discipline, but he says the reason that he does it is when he starts smoking again, it's like smoking for the first time.
Tolerance.
And he has a nice sort of, he has a kind of a new romance, if you will, with the weed for the first.
That's cool.
Like it's funny for me because I can remember, because being 36, the first few times that I smoked weed, like listening to the Beatles and going like, I don't even remember there being a fucking French horn in this song. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Things get out there. Anyway.
What about edibles?
Oh, I can't do edibles. Are, first of all, they make me eat. Do they make you guys eat?
Yeah. Yes.
Edibles get me munchier than anything else. No, I try to avoid.
It's a never-ending cycle too, because you're just gonna eat more edibles and get more high, and then that's
right.
it. So you fall asleep and wake up and go, I'm not gonna eat edibles.
He owns a company that has amazing edibles too.
Really?
Yeah. So
Holy
it's
shit!
It's like a self-serving fucking thing.
Oh wow, that's so cool. But like, so do you guys consume edibles? Yeah. So what's your milligram amount? Like what's a good amount for you?
I'm a regular human, so it's somewhere around like 200 to 300.
At one time?
Yeah.
200 milligrams.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
What do you mean that's not a lot?
That's like 2 chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Or like
well, it depends, because we're in the weed industry, so we do
Yeah.
a lot of weed. I do reviews and shit. So like a couple thousand milligrams.
Wait a minute. You can eat a couple thousand milligrams in one like a night or an evening.
No, like if I'm doing for a video, like I do 3,000 to 5,000. I blacked out though off of edibles before.
Dude, I can't do more than 10 milligrams. That's
it's just different in my body because I've been smoking for so long.
Yeah.
I think my tolerance is so high.
But like, like like on Joey Diaz's old podcast
I
where
just
he's
asked him the Stars of Death.
yeah,
I thought they were 2,000 milligrams each.
they're 500, right? Or 125 or something.
I thought they were thousands.
Oh, okay.
That's why the whole time, like, Joey Diaz is eating thousands and still podcasting.
I just saw that clip on YouTube, and then I sunk deeper.
Yeah.
I was just like, more Joey Diaz eating edibles, please. Just extremely satisfying. And he's like, it was hilarious to watch because I just, for me, I'm like, oh, 10 milligrams. That's, I go to sleep thinking I might die tonight. Like I'm
so jealous of that.
That'd be insane. Huh?
And he's like, I watch this cocksucker. Another one, like, and I just remember this one. I don't know the name of his other fella on the podcast. Lee?
Yeah.
He was doing, is this the guy that he made eat so many of them that he was?
He turns the mush.
Yeah. It was like, dude, it's one of those moments where I'm like, the internet is the funniest thing in, like, you couldn't get, I've seen, you guys, we've watched all the movies and seen all the TV shows. There's nothing like, it's 2 grown men in a fucking podcast studio eating these things like Jolly Ranchers, just num num. And this guy's over here, and I just remember the part I remember is they were talking about, I think they were talking about their favorite sandwich or something. And he's like, I ate a chicken parmesan sandwich with it. And his eyes are like two red holes, and he's like, and just sweating profusely. I'm like, this is the funniest. Or you guys know who this is. Do you guys watch on YouTube that dude Custom Grow 420?
Oh yeah, I've seen him before.
That is some of the funny. See, now I haven't seen a lot of your stuff, so I'm sure I'm bringing up shit that bites your shit. I'm not trying to do that.
No, he made stuff before we did.
Oh, okay.
But like for YouTube shit, like my first video, we rolled like a 40-gram joint and I smoked it without getting up, no moving, no nothing, just camera. It was the worst thing I ever did. But I did it as in like no, you didn't. Like, no, I fucking did. Well, it's just like a challenge videos is the kind of things we do.
Well, I don't even know what a 40 gram?
It's like that, probably.
It's like that long?
Like that, and like that maybe.
And it's like, what, like that?
Like that.
Okay.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I will say it was.
Yeah, 40 grams.
It's a big joint.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a lot. But also, like, we do weed stuff. So, like, 4,000 milligram challenge or like 2 gram dabs or like.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yes.
Edward Scissorhands?
Dizzy hand. Remember when people used to do duct tape 40s to their hands?
Duct tape what?
40 ounces to their hands and drink them, those college kids. Remember that in the 90s?
I do remember that.
All right, so I do like gram vape pens or something, and I'll tape them.
No, vape pens?
Yeah.
As fingers?
No, as like taped to my hands.
You can't take them off till they're out.
Which is that is such a like automatic Pavlovian kind of response, because it's like that would be like for me, like I'm just going to hold this potato chip and I'm not going to eat it. What? No. And my hand I'm duct taped to, or just like a weird sort of holder that you can just perfectly is sized for like McDonald's cheeseburgers. You know what I mean? It's been a while, honestly, but right now, because I've had like 3 fucking toots of weed, I'm thinking about, whoa, there's just the perfect amount of fucking onions that aren't onions, and
aren't onions exactly.
Chunks of potato flavored like onions. Or
they were bomb.
Hey, did you know that the apple pie, the McDonald's apple pie, that the chunks of apple are potato?
Is it?
It's just potato. Oh, because they last longer than apples.
And you put apple flavoring on it.
It might be. It's probably treated with a bunch of chemicals and shit. Yeah. Anyway, I would love one right now, and if it was in my hand, who the fuck doesn't go, there's a thing in my fucking hand. I'm eating that. And you've got, so you're like,
vape pens,
you're like, hey, and let me tell you another thing about, and it's right there. You have to smoke it.
Well, it's a challenge.
The challenge is like to kill them until they're gone as fast as I can.
On camera.
Dude.
Yeah, on camera.
But vape pens those are dangerous, because that's a different kind of high. To me, I get the highest off vape pens. Yeah.
I don't like the feeling off of doing 2 grams worth. I feel like I'm just dizzy and high, and I don't like that. I'd rather smoke the joint again.
Yeah, I can't do pens. I cannot do pens. They get me into another
different feeling.
Yeah, I think I get into a very different headspace. It's like, just extremely confused, I guess I would describe it as.
Extremely confused.
Yeah, like beyond paranoid to like not understanding.
Yeah, it's not fun sometimes.
Yeah.
No. I had to take a break during one of the episodes. It was just too much for me. And I've never said that off the weed.
Dude, I can't believe how many milligrams, when you're like, oh, I don't really do that much, like 400. And I'm like, what? I forgot the measurement. What? 400. Is that, so that's like half a tin?
It's just different. We've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, man.
It's really what it is.
That's a lot.
But I will say, thank you so much for being here. We have ranted and rambled, which is the most fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
To do.
When you guys reached out, I was stoked. I'd heard about the show, but I'd yet to check it out. So I have since checked it out, and I think what you guys are doing here is great. And the fact that you're this steeped, of course, in weed culture with what you guys do for a living and stuff, it's really cool to have this kind of space. Dudesy makes us smoke weed every now and then.
He'll say it.
Oh yeah, I also
we need a guy. And
we have a like our little Patreon thing at the end of Dudesy called Dudesy After Dudesy. And so I always smoke a little something from my Gandalf pipe and during Dudesy After Dudesy. You know, the lighting shifts and it's a chill hang. But on our Patreon, this just came out as we're recording it today because it is Hulk Hogan's 70th birthday.
Today?
70 years old, the Hulkster. Wow. So we watched 1993's Mr. Nanny, that movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
starring Hulk Hogan, which I had never seen, even though I'm the biggest Hulk Hogan fan.
Oh, so I was a kid.
Because I don't like wrestlers in movies. I'm what they call a wrestling purist. I'm a purist. So I'm like,
You're really into wrestling.
Yeah, I'm like, great, Hulk, you're in a movie. I don't want to pop this kayfabe bubble that I have. So Dudesy had us watch it as a watch along reaction thing, and you watch the movie and the thing, and we got super duper stoned. And then by the middle of it, I'm going, he's got his hair electrocuted out, and so I'm like, hey, check it out, dude, I'm Dragon Ball Z, brother, Dragon Ball Z, dude. So we just said Dragon Ball Z a bunch of times. My point is this. I've never smoked weed on someone else's podcast.
Oh,
so
thank you very much.
So
I was wondering that.
I felt comfortable, and it's nice. You guys are great dudes, and so I smoked a bit of weed.
Appreciate that. Man.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Oh, I thought you were about to hit it. Yeah, I was like, she had a noise or something. He has some scary. When I was on mushrooms, he has a little girl that starts talking.
No,
Josh Wolf was
Scared
tripping
the
balls, and I
shit
got
out
it
of
going.
us. I'm right behind you.
Oh, that's
It was too much.
Cool.
It wasn't. It scared Josh, little child. He started rubbing his ears, remember? And then he had the cowboy jacket with the phrase.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Everybody can find you at Will Sasso, correct?
Yeah, at Will Sasso on Instagram mostly because my Twitter got hacked. And
Mine is no longer.
And Dudesy at Dudesy Pod Show on the Instagram also and all that stuff.
YouTube, everything.
Oh yeah, just Dudesy on YouTube and come check it out. It's weird as shit.
That's great.
Dudesy, Dudesy.
We'll pop it up on the screen also.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
It's one of the best slogans of all time.
It's some weird shit.
Yeah.
How about this? How about you hit your ball farther than ours, and we'll go back and you can watch a Precious hockey game. I say that to her often, out of the middle of nowhere,
Oh, that's amazing.
because it's just funny. It's just the house is over 400 yards away. All right, sorry guys, had to get it out. I've been thinking it the whole time. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much,
sir.
guys.
This
This has been the Dope as Usual podcast, the Will Sasso episode from Marty, Will, and I. Have a dope ass day.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good shit.
Perfect.